How does that music not get you hype? I mean, seriously, how does that not wake you up in the morning and get you ready for the day, the week, whatever's going on? Maybe you're breaking up with your girlfriend today and that's the music you needed. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what your day is, and don't, I mean, be nice to her. It is what, I mean, we have to talk to Murph about this too. When is it okay in holiday season? When is it okay to break up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend? Because it's December 11th today. And Christmas is 2 weeks away exactly to today. And also Hanukkah has already begun. So there's a lot of things to talk about. We are going to jump into all of it, including when is it mathematically okay to end a relationship during the holiday season. Then I'm going to tell you something that I did. Then Murph's going to make a face. And we're going to discuss it. So, a lot of great stuff coming up. Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. You didn't know I was going to start the week this way, did you? You didn't, because I didn't either. So, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Murph and I are going to be talking about 700 million things, including Shohei Ohtani not going to be on welfare or needing WIC checks or food stamps for a long time. Then we'll get into Major League Baseball and the moves that have been made beyond that. There's other moves that are happening. As a Diamondback fan, really excited about something that I said we needed, and they went off and got it right away. Juan Soto goes to the Yankees. All of these things are happening. Chips are falling. Now that Shohei has signed a 10-year, $700 million contract, that's what everybody's talking about. So we'll get into some other moves that are going on as well. We'll jump into the NFL. The playoff race is insane. You could be in first place. You could be in sixth place, like Murph and I were talking about off the air. You could go from first to fifth, sixth, seventh to out of the playoffs. And we're going to discuss it as the Cowboys and the Niners change the game in the NFC. And in the AFC, the Jaguars and some of these other teams got some help because they didn't do that great, but a lot of other teams lost. So we'll get into all of it here today. Show and tell galore. I have so many things that I'm going to be presenting. By the way, before we go anywhere, Trevor Lawrence is an absolute dog. That's what I just want people to know. He went to the dog pound and played after a high ankle sprain that people were wondering if it was going to take him out for the season. The man was running all over the field, gunning the ball. He had some mistakes. He had some moments, but darn it all, he was out there, and they played to 4 points despite the loss. So, a lot of great stuff coming up. Let's go picture in picture with Murph. Murph, how are you?
We are good this fine Monday morning. As you said, 2 weeks away from Christmas, and that I kind of got a little surprised when you said that. I did not realize that. 2023 has just
Yeah,
gone
yeah,
really, really fast.
it has. I mean, I genuinely, and I'm not saying this to say this, I genuinely am sitting here this morning saying to myself, I remember sitting here when it was like January, and I was like, hey, welcome to the new year. And now,
We're almost there again.
after the bowl, yeah, after the Syracuse bowl game, it's going to be the new year, which is absolute insanity. So, Murph, we're 2 weeks until Christmas. I got to know, when is it socially acceptable, in your opinion, to break up with your girlfriend or boyfriend around the
I
holiday
don't
season?
have much of a say on
All
this,
right, but I want to know
to be perfectly honest.
if you were living
But
in this world, what would you do?
I I would say 2 weeks before or after is probably your window.
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you something that I did. I'm going to tell the world, and then I'm going to defend myself. so, so I don't remember the exact day. I want to say it was in the 20s of December, but
Uh-oh.
I was dating somebody, and she wasn't really like, I don't know, she wasn't affectionate. Like when we sat on the couch, you could put a person between, like you could have sat between us comfortably. You could have sat between us, gained 300 pounds, and been comfy. So I mean, it was like dating your sister, you know? We didn't really hold hands. We're not kissing. We're not really hanging out. You know, her dad's looking at me like, get out while you can type of thing because her dad's an awesome dude. But we only dated for a couple months. On my birthday, she told me she was busy. Then she called me up with her friend. It's like dating a child. Like there was some years difference that I was older, but I mean, we're talking about somebody who's like college should know, like should have, like she had enough years on this earth to not like call you up and giggle on the phone and be like, "What are you doing right now?" And so it was a relationship that didn't really feel like a relationship, and I had just had enough of it. And we were driving, and I was bringing her to church to go to like this might have been closer. I think she was going to like Christmas mass. It wasn't Christmas Day, but like she was going to Christmas mass with her family, and I had all
You're
my
saying Christmas Eve
I don't remember it being Christmas
because
Eve, but it had to.
you're not gonna have Christmas Mass on the 23rd or the 26th. It's either
Yeah.
Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
In Syracuse, it was on December 22nd. And so, but no, so we're going to the church. I remember what church I was going to. And I had bought gifts for everybody. Like, I had bought gifts for her, like, so many people in her family, not just her. And I was like, dude, I can't do this anymore. And she wasn't even listening to me. She's just singing in the car, doing her thing. I said, I don't want to do this relationship anymore. This isn't a relationship. It's not fun for me. I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to go into Christmas lying to myself, lying to you. Like, I'm not happy. I just don't want to be a part of this. And then, like, she finally listened to me. And then she's like, are you serious? And then she got really mad. And then her brother came over, who I've known for a long time. He came over to the car and he's like, what's going on? And I'm sitting here just like trying to get out of there. And then I gave her the bags of gifts to give to her family. And I think I might have put them in her brother's like trunk of his car. And then I left. Thoughts?
I already know that this had to be like Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I know you said you don't know the date, but it had to be Christmas
I know.
Eve.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh man, this is Christmas Eve.
Because, people go to Christmas Eve Mass like we used to.
Yeah.
Like, the one we always went to was Christmas Eve Mass. Partly because our church does a live nativity.
Okay.
With the kids, with the young kids. And I was in it when I was a kid.
Okay.
Well, actually, I have a funny story about that.
There you go.
If either one of my parents are listening or watching right now or are watching later, they will understand exactly where I'm going with this. So I want to say in second or third grade. No, I think third grade I was one of the kings. So I think this was second grade, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Either second or fourth, I don't remember. But myself and my friend Tommy, we're both kind of, our personalities are very similar. So naturally we got along pretty well.
Yeah.
But in the live nativity, the shepherds had like a staff, right? They were, I don't remember what they were made out of. Probably like something like cardboard or something like that. I don't know. But we decide in the middle of the live nativity to start messing around and hit each other with the staffs. And this goes on, and our parents, and so his mom was in charge of CCD. So and my mom and her mom and his mom were pretty close.
Yeah.
So they stuck someone in between us in that first pew. And we still were going at it with the staffs to this day, and we still can laugh about it. And our pastor, we still laugh at it with him. We are the reason that the shepherds no longer use staffs in the live nativity.
At your live nativity, I love that.
It was it was just me thinking of that, and oh man, that was so funny. But they really do a great job with that. If you've never been to a church that does a live nativity, and I'm sure there's others that do it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Because, I remember when I was a kid, we would spend a couple of weeks practicing this.
Yeah.
And it's not like we really would say anything. But what would happen is as the priest is reading the gospel, which is the story of Jesus' birth, we are acting out the nativity as it happens.
Yeah.
So you have a Mary and a Joseph, and then somebody had, there's a little, we use somebody's baby as Jesus. You have the three kings, you have the shepherds, you have um everything else from the nativity scene. That all happens,
Yeah.
and it was really really cool. So I always enjoyed doing that when I was a kid, and it was something that I actually looked forward to every year. It I wasn't exactly, and this was little old me as a 7, 8, 9, 10 year old. I wasn't exactly the biggest fan of going to mass every Sunday, but I did it because my parents would they dragged me at the time. Um, but I appreciate looking back on it. I appreciate it now because everything that went on during those years doing the live nativity, I was always a lot of fun. I became close with a lot of different people. And what's funny is since I ended up going to Catholic high school, the place I went to in East Stroudsburg, there was I don't want to say Monsignor McHugh was a feeder school because it kind of was,
Yeah.
but it was that school went up to eighth grade, and then typically when they got to ninth grade, they would come over to Notre Dame, which is where I went. And when my mom pulled me out of the public school, she sent me straight to Notre Dame rather than Monsignor McHugh for a year. So I knew all the kids from Monsignor McHugh because they were all the kids that I went to, CCD with. So when they got over there in ninth grade, I already had like a big group of friends that I had known from over there and was close with. Um, so in the end, it all worked out. But that was that was the story of how myself and my friend Tommy are the reason why the shepherds in the live nativity no longer are allowed to have staffs.
Well, and whatever church that I was outside of when I broke up with this woman, I would also like to thank them for not having staffs at their nativity, so that her brother had no weapons. Yeah, I mean, I just want to know when it's socially acceptable. Because here's the thing, right? I am a romantic. People don't get it twisted here. Like, that wasn't a good relationship. I've been in plenty of relationships where I'm there for Christmas. I've been in relationships where a lot of not great things happen around Christmas that were out of my control. And I look back on it and I'm like, wow, how could someone have done that to somebody? So, but what I do like, Murph, and you and I can both enjoy this season. This is my second year, where I haven't had to buy any Christmas gifts for a significant other. And so I looked at my gift list because I didn't just
I've
buy
had lots of those years, by the way.
well, my thing is I just didn't buy for them. I bought for their family. I bought for their mom and their sister and their brother and their this and their that. So now I'm looking at my list and I'm going, wow, like that's it. Just, Lily, my mom, my dad, get a few things for some people here and there, and nothing crazy, nothing too much, nothing too little. Maybe I find another Zach Wilson for Murph. There's not too many things I have.
I mean, after the day he had yesterday,
I know. Hey,
I'd be okay with it.
so, but I just, I find it all too interesting during the holiday season. We are exactly 2 weeks from Christmas because it is on a Monday, folks. And Wake Up Call will be off that day to celebrate Jesus' birthday. If you don't like it, I don't care. And yeah, I was just thinking about it this morning because I was buying Christmas gifts yesterday and I looked at my list and I said, wow, man, because I'm going down to Disney before Christmas. And last year I was in Disney and there was something I was holding in my hand. It was $100. I was like, dude, I don't need this. I don't need this. And then I thought to myself, should I buy it? And then I was like, yeah, because even if you buy this, there's hundreds of dollars you're not going to spend this year. So you're still saving money. So go and do that. So this holiday season, to all my men and women out there, if you don't have a significant other, go to GG Cards and Breaks and go buck wild. That's what I have to say to you. Just go and do it. Get that $230 box of certifieds. Leave one for me. But I got
Don't be that guy that opens all the Donruss right before I get there.
So, by the way, folks, I'm going to show and tell this baby because I did a box break of the Panini Origins. There's only a few, probably none left, at GG Cards and Breaks. So get out there today ASAP. do it right after the show because, well, you could do it during the show. They open at 10 o'clock. So Panini Origins, they say you get 14 rookies. Almost my entire box, it felt like, were rookies. I'm going to show off a bunch of stuff that I have here because some of it may have to go get graded, and some of it is definitely going to be going into my little showcase for the next event that we do with Trade Night. So that is my show and tell. But Murph, speaking of show, how about a show? Hey, Ohtani. And let's jump right into it. 700 million things. I'm sitting courtside at the Battle for the Interstate. I'm in Binghamton. Fantastic event. Awesome time. The Binghamton Bearcats and the Lemoyne Dolphins. Men's basketball start off a rivalry with both teams now Division I. Binghamton's been Division I. Lemoyne is now Division I as of this season. The rivalry was awesome. The game was awesome. Lemoyne led at halftime. Lemoyne got it down to single digits in the second half. Binghamton pulled away. Incredible event. While I'm sitting courtside, Shohei Ohtani signs a deal with the Dodgers, which is one of the teams that you and I had brought up, that he was not going to have to leave L.A. because apparently he really likes L.A., and he wouldn't have to leave L.A. at all. He would just go from one team that can't seem to ever get to the playoffs to a team that is perennially in the playoffs and vying for World Series and all that great stuff. So he stays in L.A., he goes to the Dodgers. 10 years, $700 million, $70 million a season. And here I am thinking when I was reporting on Mike Trout and his $400+ million contract that was a lot of money. And when Alex Rodriguez made more money than what George Bush Jr. sold the Texas Rangers for, I thought, hey, that's a lot of money. Shohei Ohtani eclipses everybody to make $70 million. Remember when people thought Pat Mahomes making $50 million was a lot? $70 million a year. Shohei Ohtani is a Dodger who will now, in 1 year, make more money than like 1 billion people in a lifetime. Your thoughts?
Initial reaction when I saw that he posted on Instagram that he was going to the Dodgers was not surprised at all.
Yeah.
I was not at all surprised he was going to the Dodgers. They were the favorite all along. We knew he was probably not leaving L.A.
Yeah.
You know, the Cubs made a run. The Mariners made a run. I think the Blue Jays were in there. First of all, I feel bad for Blue Jays fans. J.P. Morosi really did them dirty on Friday. That sucked for them. It's like what John Heyman did last year with the arson judge to the Giants thing. Like, that's just as bad. So, you know, I do feel for the Blue Jays fans. But no one is surprised that Shohei Ohtani is going to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
What surprised us was the number. $700 million. That is just absurd.
Yeah.
Now, I knew going into free agency that his contract would probably start with a 6. I was figuring maybe 6 and a quarter, 650. You know, and even still, you would have been like, wow, when that, you know, if he actually signed that contract. But now that we're seeing $700 million, it starts with a 7.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking $500 million here. We're talking about almost $750 million. Billion with a B.
Yeah.
I mean, that is...
It's a little bit of money.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And you know what's funny? Earlier this week, we found out John Rahm was going to play for Live Golf, and his reported bonus is between $500 and $600 million.
Yeah.
You're thinking, wow, that's an awful lot of money. Ohtani just made more than that.
Yeah.
And that's the Saudis that are giving him that kind of money. The Saudis have all kinds of money. Then the Dodgers are giving him more money than John Rahm is getting to go play for Liv. That's nuts.
Shohei getting more money than everybody. Here is what Shohei had to say on his Instagram, where he just posted a logo of the Dodgers. That was it. He put that post up on Saturday. It says, To all the fans and everyone involved in the baseball world, I apologize for taking so long to come to a decision, which I think is insane. Number one,
He did not have to.
you didn't need to
Take your
apologize.
time, man.
Yeah, number one, you didn't need to apologize. Number two, you didn't take that long. You took almost no time, but shows his character, and I appreciate it. Seems like a nice guy. So, quote, to all the fans and everyone involved in the baseball world, I apologize for taking so long to come to a decision. I've decided to choose the Dodgers as my next team. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone involved with the Angels organization and the fans who have supported me over the past 6 years, as well as to everyone involved with each team that was part of this negotiation process, especially to the Angels fans who supported me through all the ups and downs. Your guys' support and cheer meant the world to me. The 6 years I spent with the Angels will remain etched in my heart forever. And to all Dodger fans, I pledge to always do what's best for the team and always continue to give it my all to be the best version of myself. Until the last day of my playing career, I want to continue to strive forward not only for the Dodgers, but for the baseball world. There are some things that cannot be conveyed in writing, so I would like to talk more about this again at a later press conference. Thank you very much. End quote. That's got to be the nicest, kindest, sweetest message from an almost billionaire that I've ever heard in my life.
That's Shohei Ohtani for you. Shohei Ohtani, in his 6 years in Major League Baseball, has proven to be one of the best characters in baseball. Now, people are gonna say, well, he never talks to the media. He's, that guy that, only talks after he pitches. But who cares? Who cares? He's there to have a good time. The man eats, breathes, and sleeps baseball. He literally wakes up in the morning, has breakfast, goes to the park, eats lunch and dinner at the park, plays a baseball game, goes home, goes to sleep, eat, sleep, repeat.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
This dude lives for this game. Even when he was in Japan, that's all he does. He doesn't do anything else. It's all baseball. And that just shows you the type of person that he is, his character, his drive to be the best, which he is.
Yeah.
And in my opinion right now, he is the most talented person to ever set foot on a baseball field. As much as I love Mike Trout,
yeah,
who Mike Trout might be one of the best players I've ever seen, as great as Barry Bonds was as a hitter, as great as Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez were, going back to the old days, Nolan Ryan, Bob Gibson, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, I don't care. Shohei Ohtani is the most talented person, I'm not just saying player, person,
yeah,
to ever set foot on a baseball field. He pitches at a Cy Young level and hits at an MVP level.
Yeah.
How often are you going to say that a player can throw a 102 mile per hour fastball right on the black with a devastating splitter and then go to the other side, grab his helmet and his bat, and hit a 450-foot home run? You don't see that.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. Nobody else can do that. But one thing I want to make sure everybody at home remembers. There is only one Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
I guarantee you people are going to try and do what he's doing and, are going to try and be a two-way player. It's not going to happen. There will never be another Shohei Ohtani. And for all of you out there that are taking Ohtani for granted and, saying, he's great and all, but somebody will one day come along that's better. No. Just no. I don't care if Ohtani never pitches again.
Yeah.
Because that's a real possibility after the second major elbow surgery.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly if it was Tommy John surgery or what exactly it was, but funny enough, the doctor who did the procedure is the Dodgers team doctor. So the Dodgers knew a lot about the medicals, which is probably why they were willing to go to $700 million.
Yeah.
So realistically, with all of that in mind, it was not a surprise that the Dodgers signed him. But people enjoy Shohei while it lasts.
Yeah.
It's not going to last forever, and there will never be another.
And I mean, listen, people compare him and they say, he and Babe Ruth, because Babe Ruth pitched, but Babe Ruth didn't pitch.
You
like
can't
this.
even put them in the same
You can't.
conversation
I mean,
anymore.
He's just
you once could.
What'd you say?
When he first came over, he was known as the Japanese Babe Ruth, which was not wrong.
Right.
Right? But now he's doing things that not even Babe Ruth did.
Now it was
you cannot at any point anymore. You cannot mention Babe Ruth and Shohei Ohtani in the same breath. You just can't. Babe Ruth couldn't do the things Shohei Ohtani's doing.
Well, and that's the thing. Like you said, at a Cy Young level, that you worded it so well, and an MVP level as a hitter, he is in a league of his own. He is in a world of his own. That's why he is in a market of his own. His agent, Nez Balelo, said, quote, "This is a unique, historic contract for a unique, historic player of CAA sports," Nez said in a statement, quote, "Shohei is thrilled to be a part of the Dodgers organization. He's excited to begin this partnership, and he structured his contract to reflect a true commitment from both sides to long-term success. Shohei and I want to thank all the organizations that reached out to us for their interest and respect, especially the wonderful people we got to know even better as this process unfolded. We know fans, media, and the entire industry had a high degree of interest in this process, and we want to express our appreciation for their passion and their consideration as it played out." End quote. Now, this is not only the biggest baseball contract ever, it is believed to be the largest contract in worldwide sports history. Lionel Messi's $674 million deal with FC Barcelona ran from 2017 to 2021. It also passed the $679 million contract that Mbappe had, even that he would earn if he opts to stay with PSG through 2025. Now, the history of North American team sports, as I had stated, it exceeds Pat Mahomes' 10 years, $450 million extension. In baseball, it passes Mike Trout, 12-year, $426.5 million extension with the Angels in 2019. So, it is believed to be the largest contract in worldwide sports. Nobody anywhere, and isn't it amazing, because he came to America from another place, so we can worldwide this whole thing of where he's from and where he is, and getting a test around the world of how much money. And we look at Mbappe, we look at Messi, people go
What
back.
about Ronaldo's contract with the Saudis?
Yeah, I mean,
wasn't that $1 billion with a B?
Well, this one says, from what I'm looking at right now, that over time, this may be the largest one in sports, worldwide sports history. It is the biggest in baseball by almost $300 million. Who would have ever thought that we would be able to say that this almost doubles the contract of Mike Trout.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that it would pass players like Mbappe and Messi. We look at guys like David Beckham back in the day and how much money we thought was a lot of money back then. This has now put us in an astronomical world. So people say, well, does the market change? Murph, does it change? Dan, does it change? No, because he's his market. You're not going to see like, now here's the next guy to fall in free agency for $692 million. Here's a guy who gets $650. No, they're going to be living in the world of 300 range. And people now, because we see this contract, this is how people's minds work. Once you see what the highest is, now you're going to see a Mike Trout contract and you're going to go, yeah, that's all right. I mean, but that's like nickels.
Mm-hmm.
That's like nickels compared to Shohei Ohtani. So here we are thinking Alex Rodriguez, Mike Trout, all of these contracts were big. We're talking about $600 million for Shohei, maybe. We're talking about this, talking about that. $700 million contract. This man will make more money than countries that exist on the planet. And he's 20.
His contract?
He's 29 years old, folks. He's 29. So at the end of this contract, he will not even be 40 years old and will have made $700 million plus everything else from the Angels.
Yeah. So his contract, I did some research. Well, not that I did some research. It was tweeted about this. That contract is worth more than the Arizona Coyotes franchise in the NHL. He could buy the Coyotes if he wanted to.
And he probably will buy something.
No, I'm sure he'll buy something.
But he'll buy something at some point.
Keep in mind, though, there are
why not
historic amounts of deferrals in this deal. The deferrals are there so that the Dodgers can get the luxury tax number down so that they can still field a competitive team. Because you would have thought as soon as this deal was signed that, okay, they're probably out on Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who's a guy that we'll probably talk a little bit more about in the near future, because I would imagine he will probably sign, they're saying probably within the next week or so. And the Mets, Yankees, and Dodgers look to be the three favorites there. They're saying the Mets are the favorite with what they did and flew over to Japan to meet with him and everything. But I don't know. It's that one can go to anybody. But all those deferrals are going to bring the actual luxury tax number down to, they're expecting between like 40 and 50 million as the luxury tax number, which is at least a little more manageable than 70. It's essentially two players. But going back to what you said about, does this change the market? And, both of us said absolutely not. There will be contracts that surpass the Mike Trout deal. Yeah. I'm willing to bet Juan Soto's free agent deal next year will surpass that Mike Trout contract. I would put money on that right now. However, you will never see another contract of $700 million anytime soon. Maybe 30 years from now, 25 years from now, when the value of a dollar has continued to go down and inflation's high, and maybe you see a contract worth that simply because of how much money is worth at that point.
Yeah.
But now you won't, because you got to think of it this way. They're essentially getting two players. You're essentially just signed two players to a 10-year, $350 million contract. If you look at it from that lens, it's a bargain. MVP hitter, Cy Young pitcher, $350 each. Who says no? Garrett Cole, Aaron Judge. Yankees have that.
Yeah.
Put those two together, you got Shohei Ohtani. Literally. So, and it only takes up one roster spot.
Yeah.
So, Soto, you will probably see surpass. Like, you'll see contracts over 450. You'll probably see contracts that get to 5. You're not going to see anything over 6, and you're not going to see anything over 7. Like, you're not going to see Juan Soto sign a $650 million contract. It's not going to happen.
No.
Literally. It is not going to happen.
No, because he lives in his own world. And
you're right.
He's in his own stratosphere. It's all that. He becomes the fourth player, folks. Mind you on this. He becomes the fourth reigning MVP to change teams in the offseason. Shohei has done it. I cannot speak today. Giancarlo Stanton, 2017, from the Marlins to the Yankees. Alex Rodriguez from the Rangers to the Yankees. And Barry Bonds from the Pirates to the Giants. And so when we look back on this, Stanton, Rodriguez, Bonds, the only other 3 players in Major League Baseball history to be the reigning MVP, change teams in the offseason. Barry Bonds and Shohei Ohtani are the only 2 to ever do it as free agents after being a reigning MVP. So looking at this ulnar collateral ligament, which I know some things about because I had a hand injury back in the day, and so you look at the dorsal distal ulnar. We look at all these different things. I know the dorsal and all that stuff because I dated someone who is an athletic trainer. So
that's the UCL right there.
Yeah. So you have your ulnar collateral ligament. Then you have some dorsal stuff here with your ligaments, not ligaments, but you have dorsal and distal and all that stuff. So anyways, looking at what's going on here, it was a hybrid version, vaguely, potentially Tommy John surgery or some hybrid of it. by the Dodgers team physician, as Murph said. And so details of the procedure were definitely not clear. Now, looking at how everything was going on here, the Toronto Blue Jays, people were saying that he was going to be joining the Toronto Blue Jays. This is why I don't report on anything I don't know. Is that if I
They
don't.
just assumed that a
Right.
plane going from
Exactly.
Anaheim to Toronto
Yeah.
was a plane Ohtani was on.
And there
And it
was.
was literally Robert from Shark Tank.
Well, and the thing is there was. That's what happened with Fran Brown. Is somebody posted like, hey, there's a plane leaving Syracuse en route to Georgia. Now, could it have been to see him? Maybe. Could it have been one of the rich people that lives in Syracuse? Potentially. But when a plane takes off and it's a private jet and you don't know, and in this
Don't
case,
assume.
right. But this is the world we live in today. People throw everything at the wall hoping that something sticks. They're not broadcasters, they're not journalists. Some of them are, some of them aren't, but everybody's trying to be first. They're not trying to be moral. They're not trying to be logical. They're not trying to be rational. They're not trying to be correct. They're not trying to be honest. They're not trying to be respectful. They're just trying to be first. The private jet leaves Southern California and goes to Toronto. Speculation comes, that's got to be for Ohtani. And so it was a false report that came out. It was not true. And like you said, it was one of the members of Shark Tank that went on there. The Blue Jays were brought up, the San Francisco Giants, the Chicago Cubs, the Angels were brought up as well. We talked about other things like the Mets and the Yankees because they spend a lot of money, but ultimately this was Shohei Ohtani's quiet decision. He keeps to himself. And, leaving Japan, we look at the world, like I said, and what a worldwide player. Think about how far away, Japan, to people sitting in America right now, thinking about how far away Japan is from me here on the East Coast in New York. And to see a player who comes from Japan, finds his way, becomes an incredible, incredible athlete as he grows up, seems like a very nice person, and as he goes through his life, ends up with the Angels, becomes arguably the greatest player ever as that comes up the
I
ranks.
don't
And
think there's debate anymore, to be honest.
well, but some people will debate it. And so that's why I say arguably, because they will talk about Hank Aaron, they will talk about Babe Ruth, they will. And so as we get to Shohei Ohtani in this world of his own, think about this young kid, he's not even 30 years old, who has gone through this life, coming out of Japan, going to America, believing in himself, betting on himself, and now he can return to Japan and probably, cancel out their debt, for goodness sakes. So, I mean, it's an incredible journey of someone who has spanned the globe, and the globe has been watching, and now the world who many regard as the best player ever, and of course the best player now, they will now see Shohei Ohtani get paid higher than anybody else, proving that he truly, arguably is in a world that not only has anyone never touched, but they're not touching, and I don't think anybody ever will. It is very difficult. I mean, when you say Babe Ruth did it, Babe Ruth was a pitcher and a hitter, but not like Shohei. Babe Ruth was incredible as a hitter. Now Shohei Ohtani, an incredible hitter and pitcher. Will we ever see another baseball player get anywhere close to this? I'll say that the kids in Japan are probably running around saying, I want to be Ohtani, right? They want to live up to that. There's probably people all over the world saying, I'm going to pitch, I'm going to hit, I'm going to show you that I can do it. But Shohei Ohtani, I mean, they might have to redo the commercial. Everybody wants to be like Mike, because not everybody is going to be like Shohei. And we've said it before, we said it today, and we'll say it again. There is a very high chance that Shohei Ohtani is a one of one, and we will never, ever see him again. And he got paid as such, and congratulations and God bless to him for that. Babe Ruth's rookie card went really high over these last.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, it went really, really high.
I think 7.8 million or something like that.
Yeah.
But there's only 10 of them known
Right.
from 1914. But
But Shohei Ohtani, folks, I am just I'm not surprised by his contract making history. I'm not surprised by the fact that this has been such an incredible, monumental, stands alone moment in history. I am surprised that the Dodgers felt the need to go, 420 plus is like that's the top. Not 450, not 500, not 550. And remember, this guy's coming back from surgery and he can't pitch right away. But for the Dodgers to say, we're going to give you more money than franchises cost, it's there's not even words for it. It's like, take a bunch of stuff you think is expensive and put it all together. All I'm going to say is that this man he could buy many jets to privately move himself around the world. And I'm just, listen, he deserves to be treated as a one of one. This money is way too much to fathom. And one person needs $30 million a lifetime, let alone 700. But God bless to Shohei. You got treated like the person that you are, which is all by yourself. And at the same time, I hope you remain humble. And I don't know. I don't know if the Dodgers were fighting themselves in the market, because I don't think anybody was going, yeah, we're going to give them 692. What you got? But,
nope.
I guess the Dodgers want to make a statement.
I don't think Toronto was giving him anywhere close to that. I think as soon as he's heard that $700 million number from the Dodgers, it was done. We don't know what the Blue Jays offer was, but I'm willing to bet it was maybe like 625. That's going to be my guess. But
you have to remember too, is the Canadian money, there's the translation of it too. So
yeah. But also keep in mind, too, that $700 million isn't actually worth $700 million with California state taxes.
Right. He was better off
Those
going
are the highest
to a team
taxes in America.
He was better off going to Florida where they have no state tax.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Or Delaware where they have no tax. When you go to the store and you buy something in Delaware, it's that price. If it's $92.71, that's it. That's what you pay, $92.71. You don't pay $103.26, you pay $92.71. In New York, when I buy something, I'm like, it's $95. So I'm thinking in my head, it's a few bucks more, maybe it's 98, and then it's 103. And you're like, what in the world? But it's an 8% tax. So just, Shohei, just for you to know. And by the way, I thought that the state of California was bankrupt. So the Dodgers are not, and they live within the state. But this is a state that has wondered where they're going to get water from. This is a state that has constantly talked about bankruptcy. California is like that friend that you have that tells you that they're fine, and then they pull their hair out like Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, and they're in the bathroom kicking their own butt. But within the state of California, that always seems like it's lost its mind, Shohei Ohtani, he's going to make the money. So maybe they're relying, maybe the governor will ask Shohei to help them find some access to water and pay for some pipelines for other things. I have no idea, but it's just ironic.
Ain't doing squat.
I know, but it's ironic to me that the state of California is always in a state of flux, yet within the state of California, the Dodgers they're very fine. They're good.
and they think Newsom can be president? Really? Can't even run his own state correctly.
I would not.
But I digress. I'm not going to talk about. We're not going to talk about politics. That's all I'm going to say.
I'll put it to you like this: you could be Democrat, Republican, Independent, or you could be a moose. If you're voting for someone from California, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it very, very wrong.
Bull moose.
What?
You could be a bull moose.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
you know what I mean by that, right?
A bull moose?
Yeah.
I don't.
You never? You tell me you never heard of the Bull Moose Party?
The Bull Moose Party? No, I've heard the Tea Party.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh no.
So when Teddy Roosevelt ran the third time, so he originally came out after 2 terms. I think Taft was after him. It might have been William Howard Taft that was after him. He decided to run again And when he didn't get the Republican nomination, he created his own party.
Yeah.
It was the Progressive Party, which later became known as the Bull Moose Party. So that's
Okay.
where that reference comes from.
All
But
right.
um,
The Bull Moose Party.
the Bull Moose Party. If you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah. I mean, if you are a person with a brain, the state of California is not where you go to find reason
No.
and find workable systems. So
No.
when they were building the new stadium for the Rams and the Chargers, they didn't have. They were trying to figure out how to have water. They were telling people to not like go outside and use the sprinkler system. And I'm like, how are you building a stadium that's gonna need water in a state that has no water? But that's where we are. California, hey, listen, within your state, there's really good businesses like the Dodgers. Maybe take a page out of the Dodgers book. Not $700 million to go to one thing, but maybe we figure out how you make money within the state of California. But Shohei, congratulations. Much love and much respect. And your contract reflects how we all see you as somebody who literally, I don't even know if you're playing baseball anymore. I feel like Shohei Ohtani showing up, like the nights that he pitches, if a spaceship hovered over the stadium and he beamed down, I'd be like, that's normal. That's the Shohei intro.
Yep.
Because he is himself. He is a one of one. He is undeniably incredible, and you can't compare him to anybody in any sport, anywhere in the world, anytime in history. And now you can't compare his contract to anyone in the world, anytime in history. So
The thing is, his popularity, not just in America, but in Japan,
yeah,
there's like 45, 50 million people that live in Japan. He's got an entire country that loves him.
And now he can
entire
start an
country that
entire
will follow
country
him.
with his money.
You're right. You're right. So the Dodgers, whether he lives up to this contract on the field or not, the Dodgers will have no problem paying for this contract. Jersey sales, ticket sales.
Yeah.
They're starting the season over in Korea. I guarantee you there will be people from Japan over in Korea watching that game.
Oh, yeah.
Guaranteed. So his level of attraction, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
on a worldwide stage it rivals Messi, it rivals Ronaldo. And those, you're talking two of the biggest soccer players in the world.
Yeah.
And, whether you like soccer or you hate it, and, as most people know, I hate it, those guys.
Yeah.
You know the significance of them. You know damn well that when they go to play soccer somewhere, people are going to show up. Right? Like when the World Cup is here in, I want to say it's 2020. Is it 2026? I don't know. I could not care less about the World Cup. But when the World Cup is here and the World Cup final is at MetLife Stadium, I guarantee you that place is packed out if Messi is there. If it's Argentina's there or if Portugal is there.
Yeah, FIFA World Cup 2026 will be around, and it's going to be in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. It is the North American, because they didn't just give it to one country. It's a North American thing. All I have to say before we take a step aside, Murph, though, is that when I heard this news, I had to put some cold water on my face and I had to wipe it off. I had to wipe it off with this, man. I just had to wipe it in, make sure that it was all taken care of.
Well, you're gonna have to face him 12 times or however. I don't know how many times it is a year now, because it used to be 19 times a year. I don't know how many times they play each other anymore.
Well, I mean,
because now you play all 30 teams.
If you're having an issue with the Shohei Ohtani thing, or you love it and you can't believe it and you need to wipe your face off, I mean, there's plenty of these to go around to just wipe your brow and get yourself ready for just another season of good things. With that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. See, I don't shy away from competition. Oh my gosh, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, do I want to go up against him in the same division every single year that many times? No. However, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So do I complain about the fact that he signed with the Dodgers? No, let the man live his life. He's got to play the Diamondbacks, and guess what? The Diamondbacks did the unthinkable before, and it's time to do it again, baby.
They can do it again.
So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. And my words of encouragement to Shohei Ohtani is get well, get healthy, and go easy on my guys. We'll take a step aside. I'll talk with you soon. And Diamondbacks, don't go easy. Make it happen. No, I'm kidding. But Shohei, listen, I have no reason to not be a fan, and I'm really just happy that I've been alive for so many awesome things. I was born when Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were finishing things up. I got to see Michael Jordan for so many years. I was 2 years old when Syracuse had their second undefeated season ever in the history of Syracuse football. I've seen my Ducks win in hockey. I've seen my Diamondbacks win in baseball. I've seen my Raptors win in the NBA. I've seen my home countries of origin, Italy and Spain, win World Cups and Euros, including during 2020 when we were all trapped at home. I have been absolutely undeniably spoiled to see the awesome moments in history and be a part of so many things. Cover Jim Boeheim for over a decade and be here when he said he was going to leave, and then be here when he actually did leave. So there's no shortage of beautiful moments, and to live at a time where I get to watch Shohei Ohtani, I'm sure it reminds some people of living and watching Babe Ruth, which is the closest comparison. However, Shohei Ohtani is a better pitcher, and so he lives by himself. He is a walking one-of-one card, and I'll say it over and over again because it's true. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Murph and I will talk about some other moves in Major League Baseball. Anybody else got traded? Free agency? What does it matter? What's going on? Well, the Diamondbacks got the one thing that I said they needed more than anything else. They got it. And the Yankees are back to spending money again. George Steinbrenner's spirit is alive and well. And we'll talk about the NFL playoffs, where everybody seems to be alive coming toward the postseason, especially in the AFC with a losing record. We'll talk about all of that after this, where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the Whole Frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life. That's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. And it's Monday, so it's time for DT and Murphy. As always, coming to you on Mondays throughout the broadcast of Wake Up Call to start off your week. We are exactly 2 weeks until Christmas, and Shohei Ohtani better get me something nice. So with that being said here on the broadcast, Murph, what are your thoughts on the other moves happening in Major League Baseball? We got a bunch of things to get into. We are going to do some show and tell. I have so many things off camera. Murph has no idea what I have in here. I'm trying to hide things that I have off camera. But a lot of cool stuff coming up here. Very excited for that. Major League Baseball moves. The ones that stick out to you, I'm imagining Juan Soto, but would love to get your thoughts on some of the moves that have happened.
Juan Soto, who's that?
I don't know.
Is he some dude that the Yankees just got?
Yeah, the Mets.
No.
I think the Mets wanted him, maybe.
Well, so here's the thing, and I wanna address this right now because Mets Twitter went crazy when Juan Soto got traded to the Yankees. For all those Mets fans out there who think we had a shot to trade for Juan Soto, stop it. Based on what the Padres got and what they wanted, which what they wanted was young, talented pitching. The Mets don't have it. David Peterson, Tyler McGill, they are not Michael King. Michael King is a very capable pitcher who could be a number 2 or a number 3 in your rotation, who was probably going to be a number 3 out there in San Diego. You did not have a Drew Thorpe. Maybe Mike Vasil or Blade Tidwell, whatever. You didn't have that guy. And the other minor leaguers that they got in that deal, pitching, not great. But we don't have it. The Mets do not have pitching depth in the minor leagues. They don't. They have decent arms. I'm telling you that right now. So all you Mets fans out there, like me, who were disappointed when the Yankees got Soto, you're with me. We were disappointed. But the ones that were saying, "Oh, we should have got him, we should have gotten him," shut up. You know what my thoughts are there? He's gonna be a free agent. He's not signing an extension. He is a Boras client. Him of all people will make it to free agency. Why would you give up assets for a guy that you can't re-sign when you can just go sign him in the offseason and give up nothing other than money?
Yeah.
It blows my mind. So, Mets fans, don't fret. Steve Cohen will still offer him the most money. And if he wants to come to the Mets, great. We will have given up absolutely nothing of value in the process other than the money. If he doesn't want to come to the Mets, okay, that's fine. Whatever. On to the next one.
Yeah.
But there has been Juan Soto to the Mets ties for years. It would not shock me at all if the Mets stole him from the Yankees next offseason. And we will have given up absolutely nothing, and the Yankees will have fleeced themselves. And what would be even funnier is if the Yankees missed the playoffs this year. Soto plays well, Yankees miss the playoffs, and he comes across town to the Mets. That would be hysterical. That's a Mets fan's dream. So Juan Soto to the Yankees made all the sense in the world. We knew right away that the Yankees were going to be in on him.
Yeah.
The prospects that they gave up, Drew Thorpe was a solid pitcher. He projects to be maybe number 3 or number 4 in your rotation. And then Michael King, who we knew was a bullpen arm for a while, and then they threw him in the rotation at the end of last year, pitched really well, sub-3 ERA in the rotation. And now he's going to be a part of the Padres rotation behind Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove. So that's an interesting move for them. The other two prospects were, okay. They're mid-level minor leaguers. Might flash some back-end rotations. Tashioka. He's basically the Yankees version of Tomas Nido if you're a Mets fan. Defensive first catcher. Not really much of a hitter. Was the Yankee starter when they got rid of Gary Sanchez. Now he pretty much didn't really have much of a place on the team. So essentially it is, Michael King, Drew Thorpe for Juan Soto and a couple of other minor leaguers. Now, the Yankees also get Trent Grisham back in this deal.
Yeah.
Trent Grisham, for a little while, was a pretty capable hitter. Could be a 20-20 guy, hit for decent average, but in the last 2 or 3 years or so, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. His batting average is going to sit right around the Mendoza line, right around 200. He'll probably still steal 15 to 20 bags, but he is a glove-first guy. He is one of the best defensive center fielders in all of baseball. So the Yankees getting someone in there that can patrol center field, whether it is starting in center field or being that fourth outfielder that can come in late in the game when they shift Judge to a corner and they put him out in center, that's a pretty good move. Now, Soto, I don't know where they're going to put him. It sounds more like they're going to put him in right field. It's probably the right decision because left field's a lot bigger at Yankee Stadium. And I'd rather put Soto in a spot where he doesn't have to worry about moving all that much because Soto, as we all know, isn't much with the glove. He doesn't have to worry about moving all that.
Yeah.
He can make the basic play. He can make the routine play, but he's not going to really do much that's going to do much for you. He's a below average outfielder, to say the least. So he'll go to right field for the Yankees. There's still rumors that they might go after somebody in left field. I think they're still looking at Cody Bellinger as a possibility. But Judge sounds like he'll probably play center, at least until Jason Dominguez comes back from his Tommy John surgery. And realistically, he's not going to be able to play the field much, so this might not be till next year anyway. So we'll have to see on that. But I like the move for the Yankees. I think it made all the sense in the world. As far as home runs go, I don't think much is going to change for Juan Soto because he's a guy that hits to all fields. And for his sake, I really hope he doesn't become pull happy. Because if he tries to hit home runs at Yankee Stadium and gets pull happy, We all know what happens when Juan Soto gets pull happy. And that was 2021. 2021 Juan Soto hit everything on the ground. That was the worst year of his career. When he figured it out, maybe it was 2022. I think it was 2022 actually. When he figured it out and started hitting line drives to all fields, that's when he regained his power. His power is not to his pull side. His power is to right center, left center, even left field. The dude can hit a ball on the outside corner, wrap it around the left field foul pole for a home run. That's how talented of a hitter that Juan Soto is. So that deal made all the sense in the world for the Yankees. Now, as far as other deals are concerned, you alluded to it a little bit. Eduardo Rodriguez to your Arizona Diamondbacks.
Well, I want to hit this for a second on Soto. I want to hit this for a second. Soto, mind you, folks, came into the league 2018 with the Nationals. Juan Soto has played for the Nationals, the Padres, now the Yankees. In 2022, he was still a National and then moved over to the Padres from there, and now is going to be a Yankee. So if he hits free agency after the 2024 season, he will have played for, and goes to another team, he will have 4 teams in less than a calendar 4 years that Juan Soto has been a part of. He's supposed to make $30 million through the arbitration process. And
might be a little more, I would think.
Yeah, so that's around there is what I'm seeing. And obviously you had mentioned they gave up a bunch of pitchers and whatnot to bring him in. But just interesting how Juan Soto, a 3-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger Award winner, is in a place where from 2022 to 2024, we could be looking at him playing for 4 different, well, by 2025, I should say, for 4 different teams within that period of time. And very interesting that he's been moved so many times before he has hit free agency. So we'll see if he connects. I mean, the Yankees, I think the Yankees mentality, and this was definitely, in my opinion, the old Steinbrenner mentality for George Steinbrenner, is get him in here. He'll never want to leave. He's going to see how we do things. He's going to see the city. He's going to see the organization, the history. He's going to put on those pinstripes, and he's going to know the world that he lives in, and nobody can show a baseball player anything better than what we can as the Yankees. That was the Yankees mentality for as long as I've been alive, is have them come here and see DiMaggio and see Jeter and see Mantle and see Mariano Rivera and see Ruth and so on and so forth, and Whitey Ford and Yogi Berra, and the list goes on and on and on. Bring them to Cooperstown and show them that the Yankees have player upon player upon player upon player that are there in the Hall of Fame. You know, it's not easy to outsell the Yankees, and I think the Yankees are doing that with Soto, saying, hey, we're going to bring you in. We're going to show you everything that we could do. And it's also good for the Yankees, too, right? We test it for a year. We see what it looks like. If it's worth paying for, now we've tested it to see that it's worth paying for instead of paying an ungodly amount of money and not knowing if it's going to work. Let's put him and Aaron Judge together. Let's try and get this team some more bats that are not just Aaron Judge, which is what they needed to do. They also need to get pitching rotation help to help out Garrett Cole. If they can shore up some things as they get set for 2024 and it works out, now you know the value of Juan Soto to your team. He knows what it's like to be in New York with the Yankees. They know what it's like to have him on the team. So as much as they could lose him after the 2024 season, they're also gaining the fact that they're not overpaying for him to test out over a year. Essentially, they're signing him to a 1-year deal to see what it looks like. And
prospect-wise, they are. That's a haul to give up prospect-wise for a rental.
Well, you still could lose. You could still lose him though.
That's true.
I just don't.
But that's what I'm saying.
A lot of people can sell the Yankees if the Yankees go back to the old Steinbrenner way. They got away from it.
Money-wise, they can.
What'd you say?
Money-wise, they can. They're in a city with an owner who literally will spend an ungodly amount of money for a guy that he wants. If he wants Juan Soto, he will offer Juan Soto the world. If he has to offer Juan Soto $700 million to come to the Mets, he probably will. But I don't think he would. Because what's funny is Steve Cohen's net worth. So remember when he was worth $14 billion when he bought the Mets.
Yeah.
His net worth has gone up since buying the Mets. And what's funny is he's operating the Mets at a loss, at a net negative.
Yeah.
He doesn't care that he's paying a 90% tax. He doesn't care that his bills are $1 billion for the Mets for the year. He does not care. He's through his hedge fund, he makes all this money, so he can do with the Mets what he wants. He can be a fan, which is what he is.
Yeah.
But now that he's got the right guy at the helm in David Stearns, that's going to help. Now, going back to the Yankees for a second with Soto. Yes, this does scream George Steinbrenner. And Hal was probably thinking, what would Dad do? And he made a move like that.
Which has been a long time.
Especially considering the fact that the fact that I believe, as we speak, they are on their way to California to meet with Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Did you see that there was a private jet? Make sure it's not Ohtani's coming back from Toronto.
No, but they actually are going out there. That was actually a fact. The Yankees said that they were going out there. The Mets, as we know, already met with Yamamoto over in Japan, which I think says a lot about their commitment to trying to get him. The Yankees just went to California. That's a 6-hour flight. The Mets flew to Japan. That's a 16-hour flight, if not more. Think about that. The Mets flew 10 extra hours to go meet him in his home country. Met with his family, had dinner with them at supposedly an Italian-Japanese restaurant or a Mexican-Japanese restaurant or something like that. That is going to be a bidding war between the Mets and the Yankees. And if anyone gets in a bidding war with Steve Cohen, it is not going to end well. Because Steve Cohen's either going to run up the bidding until the other team, until he says, okay, that's enough, I don't want to pay anymore, but now they have to pay all this money. Or if Steve Cohen wants the guy, he'll give him whatever. He'll say, whatever the other team's going to give you, I will give you more no matter what. And then it'll get to a point where the Yankees are uncomfortable going past, let's say 325, because it's probably going to go over $300 million with him. Say the Yankees are worried about going over 325, Cohen can offer him 330, and then that deal's done. That can happen. So, obviously we talked a lot about Soto, a lot about Ohtani. I was starting to bring up the D-backs there with Eduardo Rodriguez. 4 years, I believe it was 4 years, $80 million was his contract with the Diamondbacks. He's the type of guy where, he's not going to be your ace. And on that team, he doesn't need to be.
No.
Yeah, Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen's your ace. He's the type of guy where he can give you number 3 stuff. For most of his career, he's pitched to, I think it's like a 3. It's a sub 4 ERA. It's like 3.7 maybe. Let me just check on that real quick. But he's been a solid pitcher for most of his career. He pitched to a 3.30 ERA this past year. His career ERA is 4.03. So I was wrong on that. But he had 2 years where his ERA was near 5 in 2016 and 2021. But the last 2 years he's been significantly better with Detroit. 4.05 ERA in 2022, 3.30 ERA in 2023. He's not going to wow you. He's not going to strike out 200 guys. But he's a guy who's going to eat innings, which is what every team needs. He's a guy who's going to give you a decent amount of quality starts. I mean, keep in mind, if you throw 6 innings, giving up 3 runs every start, which is typically considered a quality start, that's a 4.50 ERA. Don't forget about that. So, anything under 4 for Eduardo Rodriguez, I think, is fine. They only need him to be a number 3 or a number 4. I think they're still developing some decent pitchers. You still got Brandon Pfaadt out there who showed signs in the postseason. So, if you plug him in to be your number 4, great.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Brandon Pfaadt. You plug Eduardo Rodriguez in at the number 3 or the number 4. I think you're happy with that. You're not signing him to be your ace. You don't need him to be. If a team like Detroit re-signed him, he is your ace, right? But on a team like the Diamondbacks, he can do his thing. I would expect to probably see between 3.7 and 4 as his ERA, roughly, being that that's around what he does in his career. And, give you innings. That's what he does. He's not hurt all that often. He's had injuries in the past, but he's not typically somebody who misses a lot of time. He's only really had 1 year where he missed time, and it was 2022 when he pitched 91 innings. But for the most part, he's pitched in the last 3 complete years, 2019, 2021, and 2023, or 2022, 2023. He's pitched, other than 2022, at least 152 and 2/3 innings every year. If he can get you to 180 innings, 200 innings, you're great. You're golden. That's what you would want out of Eduardo Rodriguez.
Well,
so I like the signing for that. I think it made a lot of sense.
And I want to throw this out here because I said at the end of the season, after going to the World Series with my dad and experiencing it over there in Arizona, first thing out of my mouth about the future, seeing how they played Game 4s and just used just a ton of pitchers. And I know that some teams like the Tampa Bay Rays will do it, but the Diamondbacks did it because there wasn't a guy. So it was like, okay, let's go 1 inning, 2 innings, 3 innings, 1 inning, half inning, 2 innings with these guys. And so with Eduardo Rodriguez coming in, my note at the end of the season for the Diamondbacks, if they would like to and aspire to, which I know they do, get back to the World Series, that they needed to get a 4th pitcher. And so going and getting Eduardo Rodriguez, he doesn't have to be
a decent 4th starter, realistically.
What'd you say?
A decent 4th starter,
right?
Which is what he is.
And it's like he doesn't have to be the 1, he doesn't have to be the 2. Merrill Kelly had a fantastic postseason, and at times better than Zach Gallen. Brandon Pfaadt as a rookie, called up and playing in the World Series. I mean, he had a wonderful game against in both of the rounds. So when they came out of the first round beating Milwaukee and they go into the next round, he had a wonderful game against the Dodgers, a wonderful game against the Phillies, struggled a bit in the World Series in the game that I was at. But beyond that, I mean, look at him. This is a rookie. This is a first-year Major League Baseball pitcher, and 2/3 of the time in the postseason, he was having himself a great time when everything was on the line and he was challenged. He rose to that challenge and did a tremendous job. So much better than I think people would give a rookie credit for. So with Brandon, with Merrill, with Zach, I said, okay, they need one more guy for me to feel better about this. They need one more guy in the rotation. They need the guy in Game 4 and just that opportunity to have something there when you're in a game like that. And Eduardo Rodriguez coming in for 4 years, $80 million. I'm excited for this, and I'm excited for the opportunity out of Venezuela. Very happy to have Eduardo Rodriguez on the team. This was the thing, like I said, that I was calling for the Diamondbacks to assess right away, was get yourself a pitcher for Game 4 of a postseason. Get yourself somebody in rotation that you can lean on, because I did not like the situation that they had to put themselves in when they were in the postseason this past season. And they were able to get by, and they were able to do what they needed to do against the Phillies, to do enough against the Dodgers. But in the World Series against the Rangers, that day 4 was a struggle day. That Game 4 was a struggle game. And now hopefully Eduardo can help to shore that up and to give me the rotation that I was looking for and hoping for. They put the money into him, and I'm excited about it. While Murph was talking, I did a little Yamamoto poll. And so if you had to pick a New York team to get Yamamoto out of Japan, who would you believe will land him, the Mets or the Yankees? I literally hit send, and I don't think I've ever had voting this quick. I hit send, and there were votes that came in. It was within maybe a few seconds. They continue to vote. It's gone 50-50. It's flipped to the Yankees. It's flipped to the Mets. It's going back and forth right now. It's currently only been out for a few minutes. It's been out for 4 minutes. And 57.1% of you say the Mets. 42.9% say the Yankees. That just flipped from being the Yankees, and it started off 50-50. So if you had to pick a team, a New York team, to get Yamamoto out of Japan, which New York team do you believe will land him? The Mets or the Yankees? In current votes, the Mets are leading. This is going to be up for a few days. Feel free to vote immediately so that your vote can be counted.
Yeah. I mean, you could say biased opinion or non-biased opinion. The Mets have to be the favorite right now. Going over, I mean, and that's what the media is even saying. Going over to Japan to meet with him, and the Mets, completely secret. Like, everything, like, all the Mets' plans this offseason have been completely secret, which I actually don't mind. So, they went over to Japan. They met with him. They took Steve Cohen's private jet over there. David Stearns went. Kodai Senga's translator went. I don't know if Kodai Senga was there. If Senga was home in Japan, I would imagine he was probably there. But I know Senga's been a big reason why, or a big part of the recruitment process for Yamamoto.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that says a lot about about what the Mets want to do. Right? They were willing to go all the way over to Japan to go see it, to go meet with him. They took him to dinner. They met with his family. And, you know, that's the thing people forget is, like, how does your family feel about a certain place, right? The Mets could have made a phenomenal impression on his family, and maybe he's like, you know what? I think I want to go to the Mets.
Yeah.
And that would be awesome. I'm rooting for it. I obviously would love the Mets to sign Yamamoto. They need an arm.
Yeah.
Desperately. You know, we lost DeGrom last offseason. Verlander and Scherzer are elsewhere. So it's Senga, it's Jose Quintana, and that's pretty much it. Now, they did sign Luis Severino, which we have not talked about yet, which I'll just briefly mention real quick. Severino coming over from the Yankees, $13 million deal, 1 year. Good flyer for them to take. He's pitched in New York before. He's been great in New York before. You know, coming off a rough year. He's a guy who's still got plenty of talent. You know, developed a really good changeup this last offseason going into last year. Changeup played well off of his fastball and a slider. So I think that's a guy that can see some success on the Mets. And if he doesn't, it was a 1 year deal. Who cares? Let him go. Doesn't matter. So it's those three guys, and that's about it in that Mets rotation. So they need they need bodies for that matter, because right now your fourth and fifth starters are David Peterson, Tyler McGill, which, you know, they're fine as a fifth starter, but not as a fourth and fifth starter. So Yamamoto in the dream off season would be a Met. And we'll see what else they want to do. But I think I ultimately think the Mets are the favorites. They have the best shot. They have the most money. It makes the most sense. It's the most logical landing spot. If they do not get Yamamoto, Mets are in trouble.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, if the Yankees get him, now the Yankees have both things that I said that they needed. So, you know, and as we stand right now, the poll has flipped again. So the poll is now flipped to the Yankees, 54.5%. Saying the Yankees, 45.5%, the New York Mets. I'm going to be excited to watch this thing go back and forth through the next few days, and make sure to follow on X at CallDT, the former Twitter. That's CALLDT. Follow me there, follow the show there, and vote in all of our polls. So once you follow us on X at CallDT, you could feel free to vote in this poll. If you had to pick a New York team to get Yamamoto out of Japan, who will land him? The Mets or the Yankees? Now, I do want to make a note here, Murph, and I want you to weigh in. I know that Greg is watching, and he's a big-time Mets fan. But when we look at the best pitchers in the history of the Mets, because this is one of the selling points. I told you that the Yankees can sell history. The Yankees can bring you up and down God knows how many hallways and show you player after player after player after player after player after player at pretty much every single position. I mean, you look at, if you just focused on the Yankees and just studied the Yankees, you have so much baseball history if you only paid attention to one franchise of some of the greatest ever. But the Mets can sell the Yamamoto. Hey, we've had some guys, but you could be the guy. You could be our historic move. You could go to a place where you're going to get in line with 900 players, or you could come here, and as much as we do have a rich history, you could be the face of not only the franchise now, but the franchise down the road. So I ask you the question, Murph. As a Mets fan, Tom Seaver, Dwight Gooden, Jerry Koosman, Jacob deGrom even, because of everything that he did in a short amount of time.
You better include Jacob deGrom in that conversation.
So who are the greatest Mets pitchers of all time? Did I name? I mean, when I'm saying Gooden, I'm saying Koosman, I'm saying Seaver, I'm saying deGrom. Is there somebody else that you want to put on this list, somebody else that you would like to include? And do you like the selling point that they could say, Ron Darling as well? Is there a selling point that the Mets can use to say, we have some good history, some rich history, but unlike the Yankees where you're just another guy that's going there, you could be our guy. Look at what deGrom did in such a short amount of time. If you stay here and you stay healthy, you could be one of our top 5 pitchers, our top pitcher of all time, and you can do that right here and now.
If Jacob deGrom's not the best pitcher in Mets history, Yamamoto won't be the best pitcher in Mets history. I'll tell you that right now, because it's Tom Seaver. Tom Seaver was the franchise. Died way too young. I believe he had dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that at the end. The statue outside Citi Field says it all. The Mets don't do that. They don't put statues up for players outside their stadium.
Yeah.
It's Tom Seaver. He is the greatest player to ever wear the Mets uniform. And that's coming from a guy who grew up loving Mike Piazza. Mike Piazza was literally my favorite player ever growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom Seaver is the greatest to ever wear the orange and blue. Ever will and ever will be. deGrom, as a pitcher, close second. Although it's not that close. deGrom was the best pitcher and is the best pitcher that I have ever seen with my own 2 eyes. And I've seen some good pitchers over the years. Like I've seen Pedro Martinez live. I've watched Tom Glavine pitch live. 2 Hall of Famers right there. Granted, at the end of their careers, but still. I believe I've seen Zach Greinke. I've seen some good pitchers from the Phillies over the years. But Jacob deGrom was just that. He was that guy.
Yeah.
That's why I was so devastated when he signed with the Rangers. And, obviously when I saw the contract, I understood. I knew that the Mets weren't doing that. It was not a smart financial move with the injury history, and especially now knowing that he's just had Tommy John surgery again, which I think is actually going to be a good thing for him because, now we know that there was an issue with his arm. So now he can have Tommy John surgery for the second time, come back, be his dominant self again. And this is my hot take for the year. Jacob deGrom, he might come back to the tail end of this year, but when Jacob deGrom's first full season back in 2025, Jacob deGrom will be the best pitcher in baseball again. Mark my words, it's going to happen. As for Yamamoto, he could definitely solidify himself as being one of the best in organization's history. Doc Gooden's career came, that was marred by the drug use, which was a shame because he would have been he had the potential to be one of the best pitchers ever. Like, that was the hook from hell. His curveball. I mean, he was Dr. K. That's why he got the nickname Doc Gooden.
Yeah.
Did some bad things. Obviously he regrets it in the past and things like that. But Jerry Koosman, people forget about. Jerry Koosman was the 1A to Tom Seaver's 1. It was 1 with Tom Seaver. Koosman was 1A. That's how good Jerry Koosman was back in the late 60s, early 70s for the New York Mets. And don't forget, there's a guy by the name of Nolan Ryan
Who did play there for a bit, yeah.
Who did win a World Series with the Mets in 1969.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that. Now, he wasn't Nolan Ryan yet. He had blister issues when he was with the Mets, and then he went off to, I believe, Houston, and became Nolan Ryan, like who we know of, as arguably the greatest pitcher ever. Well, most durable pitcher ever. And that's the funny thing. Did you actually know the final pitch that he ever threw, in which his elbow finally gave out, where he tore his UCL? I don't know if he ever had the surgery or anything on it, but he said the very last pitch that he ever threw, he heard a pop in his elbow.
Yeah.
He struck the guy out, I'm pretty sure. It was a 98 mile per hour fastball at 46 years old. That is insane.
Yeah.
That is insane. But the Mets really have had some amazing pitchers come through their organization at different times. They've developed great pitching. Don't forget about Matt Harvey, even. It was short-lived, but Matt Harvey, for a time, was one of the best pitchers in baseball. For that 2 or 3 year period, was dominant. 2013 arguably could have been the Cy Young Award winner that year. But he ended up getting hurt, needing Tommy John surgery, comes back in 2015, was dominant in 2015. He is one of the biggest reasons why that Mets team got to the World Series in 2015. He pitches 8 shutout innings in game 5, talks his way back out onto the mound,
yeah,
and goes back out there. Now, did it go well? No. That was the beginning of the end for Matt Harvey. But still, Matt Harvey, Noah Syndergaard for a while, for a 3 or 4 year period. Thor was throwing an absolutely disgusting fastball that had ridiculous tail to it, with a ridiculous curveball and a slider that no one could touch. Right? These guys came through their organization, were homegrown talent.
Yeah.
You could even put Zach Wheeler in that conversation. Zach Wheeler, the guy that we know as being an all-star for the Phillies now. Granted, was not officially homegrown. The Mets traded for him in the Carlos Beltran trade from the Giants in 2012. But Zach Wheeler was another guy developed by the Mets in that era where they were drafting and developing pitching. That's what they did. Steven Matz, another one. Pitched well for the Mets, ended up getting traded to the Blue Jays. Now on the Cardinals. I think they might have cut him. I don't remember. But even still, all of these guys have been developed by the Mets.
Well,
the Mets now have one of the better pitching development at the major league level systems in baseball. Jeremy Hefner, their pitching coach, is now going to be on his 3rd manager. He was hired when Luis Rojas got the job. He stayed on with Buck Showalter, and now he's staying on with Carlos Mendoza. That goes to show you how good and how respected Jeremy Hefner is. The Mets won't let him go. Literally. I would not shock me if he's their manager at some point. And Jeremy Hefner was just another guy, just a major leaguer who had 2 Tommy John surgeries, eventually came back, was in his career. But he is now known as one of the best pitching coaches in all of baseball, who helped develop another Japanese ace, Kodai Senga. Kodai Senga, just last year, went from the beginning of the year, could not find the strike zone. He was disgusting when he was in it, but when he could not find the strike zone, with that ghost fork and his fastball and his curve, he couldn't find the zone. By July and August, his walk rate, he was walking 4 or 5 batters per 9 early in the year. By the end of the year, he was walking maybe 2 per 9, which is really good. If he can do that with Kodai Senga, he can do that with Yamamoto. Jeremy Hefner has to be a big part of their pitch to Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Well, and I would say this. After everything that you said here, the Mets have Nolan Ryan, and eventually he becomes a Ranger. The Mets had Jacob deGrom, and eventually he becomes a Ranger. So whatever the Mets do in the future, let's hold on to them, gentlemen, shall we? So
Yeah.
let's try to hold on to the guys.
But at the same time, can you blame DeGrom for taking that money?
No, I can't blame
Especially now.
No, I can't blame him at all for taking the money.
You can't blame him.
I can't blame
I mean,
him for taking the money, and I can't blame the Mets for being concerned about the injury prone. I just can say that from my personal point of view, I was brought into, as much as I'm a Diamondback fan, I sympathized with the Mets and cheered on the Mets and hoped for the Mets when they weren't playing the Diamondbacks, largely in part due to Jacob deGrom and Pete Alonso. So with deGrom not being on the team, as much as they're not my team, I was a little heartbroken to see deGrom leave because selfishly, I wanted to be able to see him play. And if he had to come up through the minors, I wanted to see him in Syracuse again. So, that's selfishly, I didn't want to see deGrom go because as much as I like, and I have a connection to the Mets and some of the guys that I like. Brett Beatty, the auto that I got in our trade that is going to get graded. So that
Stuff's going to be going out today. It's right here.
Yeah, so Murph has it here. So the Beatty auto. I mean deGrom. If I get an auto of deGrom or I get a patch card that's also autographed by deGrom, I want a Mets one. I don't want a Rangers one. I want a Mets one. So that's what I'm looking for because I'm a big fan. Yeah, I know you got.
Want this one?
Isn't that the one that you got at the show?
No, that was
a different one.
That's this one.
By the way, if you haven't seen deGrom's autograph, it's fantastic. It's beautiful.
Oh, he's got such a great auto.
It looks like two arches welcoming you into like it's like pearly gates, folks. It's like this this just beautiful thing. So yeah, if I got a deGrom auto, it would have to come from the Mets.
This one you can take. This one's a 2016 Allen and Ginter. It's a little card, but it's cool. So like this one, I'm actually going to pick up another one later today. I'm buying another one. So if you wanted this one, I'll just give it to you for what I paid for it. Which I think was like $50. Something like that.
That's not bad. Not bad.
But it's Jacob deGrom.
We could talk about it. Yeah, no, I definitely deGrom is who I look for. deGrom and Beatty and Alonso, honestly. So I do have a connection to those Metropolitans.
It was the Angels that they traded Nolan Ryan to. That's right.
They
got Jim Fergozzi back in that deal, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's one of the worst trades in the history of the Mets franchise.
We will take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. When we come back, we have some more stuff coming up here, folks. The Mets and the Yankees continue to fight back and forth between those of you that have voted so far. It has stayed close, though, and as I'm talking, it just shifted again. So 55% Yankees, 45% Mets. It's been on the Yankees side for the last 20 minutes, half hour or so. Not even a half hour. Now, how long has it been up? It's been up for 22 minutes. So let's say it feels like it's been up longer. And within the last 10 to 12 minutes, it has been very heavy Yankees. You can vote right now on X. Follow me at CallDT. That's CALLDT. If you have to pick a New York team to get Yamamoto out of Japan, who do you believe will land him, the Mets or the Yankees? 45% of you say Mets. 55% of you say Yankees. It started 50-50, then it went Yankees, then it went Mets. It has now shifted back to the Yankees. We got a ton of votes that have come in already, so thank you so much for that. So many votes, and it's only been out for a little over 20 minutes. So go ahead and vote now. We'll take a step aside. Murph and I will come back, shifting gears to the NFL and how almost every AFC team, it feels like, is still alive in the playoffs. The Mets have a victory Monday, and thanks to turnovers, the Jaguars do not. We'll be back right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, located for you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. The place for you to go Monday through Sunday, open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. GG Cards and Breaks has baseball, basketball, football, Hocker. I was trying to say hockey and soccer at the same time. Hockey, soccer, and all sports, as well as AEW. Make sure you get out there today to get the sports that you love. Get those packs, get those boxes, as well as those single cards that are ready for you, and their graded cards that they have. They have so many great things in their showcase. Ton of awesome stuff in their Major League Baseball, NFL, and NBA boxes. They have every MLB, NBA, and NFL team. So no matter who you're a fan of, you can go to their back wall, search through your team's box, and find rookies, as well as special inserts, numbered cards, and so much more. Patch cards. They're not just base cards in those boxes. There's a lot of fantastic finds that I've had in there, including some Corbin Carrolls. So make sure you go out there to GG Cards and Breaks, go to that back wall, go and get your packs, your boxes, and you can get all the supplies you need, your top loaders, your sleeves, your showcases, as well as you can get the boxes there that they have for you lined and ready to go. So you could buy some of their cardboard boxes to help you keep everything ready. If you do shows, if you come out to trade night, you can grab your supplies there as well. So GG Cards and Breaks, one-stop shop with the same hobby and new memories, serving generations every single day, every single week of the year on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Head out to GG's today. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you, or you can just say, DT sent me to GG. That's an easy way to say it. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. 7 days a week, opening daily at 10 a.m., closing at 6 Monday through Saturday, and at 5 on Sunday. With that being said, we're coming back onto the broadcast here with some thoughts on what's going on in the world of the NFL, as well as it's going to be some time for show and tell, and we're going to do that right after this. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox.
If I had to describe it, I would like to say welcoming and kind of homey. Like, I feel home when I'm here.
Here's a special message from North Star Nutrition in North Syracuse and Nutrition Wave in Cicero on their very unique shakes and teas.
I always ask them, are you looking for a shake or a tea? Like, are you hungry or do you need a little bit of a pick-me-up? And then from there, I normally gear it towards whichever they prefer. So I say we offer full meal replacement shakes. They're 24 grams of protein, 21 vitamins and minerals. So the vitamins and minerals in that shake make it a full meal. And you'll stay full for about 4 or 5 hours. And if they want a tea, then I'll tell them that there's either 115 to 200 milligrams of caffeine. I would compare it to maybe 2 cups of coffee, and I explain all the benefits that are in the tea. Like, they have B vitamins to sustain your energy all day long. They have a tea for mental clarity and focus. They have a thermogenic tea to help boost your metabolism, burn calories. Aloe is great for nutrient absorption and digestion, and I say there's other flavors in it for the pretty colors and flavors. I always ask them, like, what's your favorite lollipop flavor? And then I'll go from there, and I'm like, well, believe it or not, there's less than a gram of sugar, and it's good for you. The shakes, I say it's like your favorite candy bar or your favorite ice cream because you've had them. It genuinely does not taste like a regular protein shake. This was the first yes that I've ever given because I've always been like too shy or too scared to like talk to people or anything, and this just kind of really opened me up. I've stayed here so long because I just love seeing everybody's faces, having them like sit down at the bar and just telling us little tidbits about their life. You really have no idea what's going on in other people's life, and I feel like this job specifically really puts it into perspective and just kind of helps you enjoy other people's presence. As like a young adult and as a person, I have learned so much working here. Like, to me, it's way more than just shakes and teas.
For healthy drinks that taste amazing in a welcoming atmosphere, head to North Star Nutrition on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse and Nutrition Wave on 6197 State Route 31 in Cicero. Open 7 days a week at each location. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We're going to spend some extra time with you here this morning as Murph and I got a few more things to rock through, and we're going to come back on to camera here, and Murph is not there. The heck is going on?
No, I'm here.
Where's
I'm
Murph
here.
at? Let's see.
I'm here.
It's crazy.
I just thought I'd on this Victory Monday.
Uh-oh.
On this Victory Monday.
Murph. Uh-oh. I will say this. How about this? This is from my brother. This is from my big brother, Joey. So you have your victory Monday, but I have my quarterback that is an absolute dog. And,
You do.
And this was given to me by my big brother, Joey. It is a Trevor Lawrence. There's only a few that have been made. I want to tell you how many this is. There was a thing on here that's, oh yeah. There's 300 of these made. This is number 60. And so this is a beautiful artistic world of Trevor. We have 3 different Trevors here. And this is going up in my studio for my big brother. But I wanted to show this because Trevor Lawrence had a high ankle sprain less than a week ago playing on Monday Night Football. So had a shorter week than most. And came back from a high ankle sprain. Played in the game, ran in the game, looked like he had full speed, and was out there slinging it away. So, Trevor, despite the loss, man, you're my quarterback. I appreciate you. To my big brother, Joey, one of the greatest things that I've ever gotten for a birthday gift, and it's going to be up here in the studio 25/8, not 24/7, baby, 25/8. So, I'll make sure to share that. I had to do that since we were showing and telling. Your jersey connects to a victory. My poster connects to a quarterback that is already a champion to me.
Yeah.
Murph. Zach Wilson, Murph.
Oh, my God.
Zach Wilson, Murph. And the offense just went nuts. Thank goodness I listened to my mom. Because I was like, am I playing Breece Hall or am I playing this guy? And I had Breece in and I took him out and I didn't know what to do. My mom goes, Breece. And I was like, because normally I play Breece Hall, but I've been going back and forth. I go, Ma, what do you think? And she said, play Breece Hall. And I clicked that button. Thank goodness I did.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to a little fantasy situation here in a minute because it's as I told you before we went live. There's a little thing that I want to run by you and see what your thoughts and what everybody else's thoughts are out there too. A little bit of a dispute within one of my leagues.
Okay.
But what a day. Well, let me rephrase that. What a second half for the New York Jets. Zach Wilson played his butt off. It's starting to sound like the Jets are probably going to trade him in the offseason or cut him or whatever. So this is probably just an audition now for other teams.
Yeah.
And boy, did it start out well. He threw for over 300 yards, 2 touchdown passes. The Jets scored 3 touchdowns on offense. The Jets scored 3 touchdowns.
On offense.
They only scored 2 in the last 5 games up until now. They almost doubled that. So Breece looked great. Garrett looked great. Zach was just feeding Garrett the ball. The defense did what they normally do, held C.J. Stroud to under 100 yards passing before he got hurt. Sauce and DJ Reed locking up the receivers. The defensive line getting pressure to the quarterback. Bryce Huff with another big sack. Quinnen's had a big sack in there, and it's just I got to the point now where I kind of feel like when you get to the point where they're probably out of the playoffs and you'd rather see them lose to get a better draft pick and rather than being in like that middle area where you're probably screwed. Especially this year when they don't have a second round pick and they only have like 5 draft picks for the year. So I would have liked to see them get a little higher up so they can move down. But nevertheless, they win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, they are still mathematically alive. They need a lot to happen.
Yeah.
But they are mathematically alive. So at 5-8 now, if they run the table, which is incredibly unlikely, if they were to run the table, beat the Dolphins, I mean, that's really the only tough game they have left is Miami next week. If they can beat Miami, which I don't think is going to happen, but if they can beat Miami, the Commanders are a joke. They're terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns have played better now that Joe Flacco is playing at quarterback, but it's Joe Flacco. Jets defense is pretty darn good, and the Browns defense is beat up. And then it's the Patriots. If they are alive week 18, Aaron Rodgers will be back on the field. He will be back on the field if they are alive. And he's ready. So it could be the Browns week. It could be the Patriots week. I don't know. There's still rumblings that it could be Christmas Eve against the Commanders, which I don't think is smart because then you'd have to come back on Thursday and play the Browns, which I don't think is a smart decision. I think you'd rather have them play the Patriots instead. They need a lot of things to go right in order for this to happen. Do I think it will happen? Probably not. But, boy, would it be fun. Boy, would that be fun. If the Jets were able to squeak into the playoffs at 9-8 after winning 5 in a row to end the year, after losing 5 in a row, well, that'd be great. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But I am going to be the, relaxed Jets fan that knows it's probably not going to happen, but enjoys the win nonetheless.
Well, I have something from GG Cards and Breaks when I opened my Origins Panini box 2023, which I love, and they didn't have many of, and the base cards look like some type of Thanos Marvel multiversal thing, but I have my first ever Aaron Rodgers
I want that.
in the New York Jets garb.
I want that.
Look at that. So I put this aside for you, Murph. Mr.
Baby, I want that.
Mr. Rogers' neighborhood right there. So
hey, that's the name of my team in the Marywood League.
Okay, so my team that no matter what I do, they lose. No matter what I do, I change.
Let me guess, they won.
I changed their name to This What We Doing, and now they're winning. So apparently,
Yeah.
I should have changed the name a long time ago. By the way, I am mathematically alive in 3 of the leagues right now to move on. But tonight, I got one team that's like barely ahead. I got another team that's got a lot of work to do. And then I have a team that's behind right now. But I have Tua and Tyreek Hill going tonight, and he has nobody.
All right. So since we're on the topic, this is probably a good time to bring this up now. So this is a league dispute.
Okay.
In one of our leagues.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna read. So I was a conversation with me and a bunch of my buddies before I actually put this message out.
Okay.
But I'm gonna just read you the message that I had posted in our group in our league forum in our league chat.
And you're gonna tell me some backstory too, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
here's this has some backstory, but
Okay.
so here's the backstory. I'm in 10th place. This is the league that I'm tanking in. This is the league that they don't like that I'm tanking in, but I'm tanking regardless.
Right.
That's not the issue here, though.
Okay.
So I am playing the team in last place in the last week of the regular season. In order to try and lose to secure a lottery pick, bench all my good players and start guys that are actually going to play.
Mm-hmm.
But then I see the guy in last place who's already locked up the best odds for the number 1 pick do the same. And I'm like, what is he doing? Has no reason to be doing this other than to screw me over. So the team in 11th place is playing the team in 9th place. And funny how this worked out, how the bottom 4 teams were playing each other. The team in 11th place lost their 2 starting running backs and is pretty much, hasn't recovered. It hasn't really done much the rest of the year. So he was probably going to he was, I think, secured to have a lottery pick. So it didn't matter if he won or lost.
Okay.
The guy in 9th place statistically still had a shot at the playoffs. Right?
Yeah.
So you'd think, all right, even though it's a long shot, you're still going to try it. You'd think. So what happened was he decided to bench all of his good players. So he has guys like, let's see. He put Jalen Hurts on the bench, Tony Pollard on the bench, Jerome Ford on the bench, Chuba Hubbard on the bench, Devontae Smith on the bench, Chris Olave on the bench. All these guys on the bench.
Yeah.
And you'd think, all right, maybe he's trying to tank for a better pick. But here's the kicker. He does not own his first-round pick this year. You know who does?
Oh.
The team in last place. If the team in last place, well, if that team that's in ninth were to lose, and I were to beat the team in last place, I get knocked out of the lottery, and now he has the first and second best odds at a number one at the lottery pick. We seriously believe there was some collusion going on in order to make that happen.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that whole situation and what you would do. We're still trying to figure out what we want to do because we're afraid this is a dynasty league.
Yeah.
We're afraid this league is going to end up folding because of this. And, you know, a lot of us don't want that to happen because we like me especially. I like my team. I have 3 first-round picks. I would like to make those first-round picks and keep this team going. So I'm fighting to keep this league alive. My buddies kind of want to just ditch the league and be done with it and start a new one.
Yeah.
But I want to know your thoughts and if you think that there is collusion, and if so, what the punishment should be.
Yeah, I mean, no, I appreciate you sending it over. I mean, I'm sorry you're going through it. I've been a commissioner for...
He is also the co-commissioner, by the way. The guy in last place.
The guy in last place. So, okay, well, that adds more to it. So, is the guy that's in ninth place, has he been in it the whole time? Has he been in the league?
Has he been in the league? Yeah.
So, how many years total, you guys?
This was the first year of the league.
Oh, first year of the league. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I mean, being a commissioner for as long as I have, which is at this point probably at least 2 decades, I do not find it an easy job because there's always someone who's a pain in the butt. But I would say for the most part that most people in these leagues, especially people that are dedicated, which we've had people dedicated for 11 to 12 years, and they respect and appreciate the league. I know this is a first year, but I'm sure that, you know, you've had people that have played fantasy before. As a commissioner, when I started playing fantasy football, somebody came to me with a collusion opportunity. And so I find it unique that you're coming to me with this now when I'm 38 years old, that when I was like a teenager-ish, I was approached with collusion, and it had to do with a pick. So he told me, hey, I'm going to have everybody draft out of a hat, and I'm going to take the number 1 pick for myself. He's like, you know, I've already done what I needed to do to make it look like the number 1 pick was going to be in the hat, but I'm actually going to have it. Talking about himself, he said, I can make sure you have the number 2 pick. Do you want it? And I said, no. And he said, why? He said, you're an idiot. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm not going to cheat. And he said, well, come on, man. I said, no. I said, I'm not going to cheat. He's like, why would you do this? And he was getting upset with me. And then it was like, well, don't tell anybody what I'm doing type of thing. So I pick last because I don't trust the kid and I don't want to be involved in any of this stuff. And I ended up with the number 2 pick after I said that I wouldn't take it based on cheating. I still ended up getting it. And I feel like that's God's way of like that full cycle of like, if you do the right thing, it eventually comes back to you.
I hope that guy came in last place.
But here's the thing. This guy used to, I don't know that year if he did, but he would, you know, he was a guy that kept winning. He kept doing things, and it was really shady. Now, in that league, after that happened, and after some other things happened, I left. And I don't know how strong the league.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't understand how strong the league was. I shouldn't say I don't understand. I'm not sure how strong the league was after that, but my dad and I left. And I told my dad, I said, I cannot support a cheater. And I won't. And I never have asked him to be a part of a league, or have I joined with him in a league since. And we're talking about like 15 years ago at least.
Mm-hmm.
So in your case, with the commissioner being in last place and
Co-commissioner, so he's not
Co-commissioner.
like the one and only
But
commissioner.
the co-commissioner being in last place and having somebody else that is in a situation now where they can kind of bump you out, I would say that obviously the other commissioner, I think the first thing you have to do is rip them of their commissioner tag. And I mean, I think what you have to do is you have to do your due diligence. I shouldn't say rip them of their commissioner tag. I think you should do the due diligence should be done as to what's going on, because in the world that we live in today, assumption is considered a death sentence. A lot of people assume. And so I would say that there has to be some type of check and balance to this. I would think that the other commissioner, it is their duty whether they want it or not and whether they like confrontation or not, because people say they don't like it. Who likes confrontation? But I think that the other commissioner needs to have a conversation with the league. I think that everybody needs to be on a Zoom call. I think everybody needs to be able to see each other, see your expressions, see your reactions. And I think the commissioner needs to bring up this situation with the other commissioner and this other person on the line. We need to discuss it. We need to go through it, because to me, it's dirty. If I were you, I understand you like your team, but I would say based on that Zoom call and based on what is done from here is going to determine, just like it did for me so many years ago, whether or not I'm going to continue in this league, because I would not stand for something like that if there's any truth to it. If the co-commissioner's in last place and they told you at the beginning of the season not to tank, and then the person that is in ninth and you're in 10th, this person is now turning around and tanking their season and sitting all their good players right before, which puts them in a situation to be in a prime position. Could they be advantageous, and could they be doing something like this to say, hey, I don't care what Murph is doing because I got to take care of myself. And if I sit all these guys, I'm going to benefit from this. I mean, there is that reality that this person is just trying to jump you because.
But they also don't own their pick. If they owned their pick,
right,
it would not be collusion.
Right. So,
but the fact that the team in last place owns that pick,
right,
owns that pick,
yeah,
and they just benched all their best players,
yeah.
Yes, you could say there's an assumption, and there was a conversation by the two commissioners.
Okay.
And it got a little ugly, but they're best friends. So if we were to fold this league and start a new one, he'll probably be in it. But he also said damn well, first of all, he would not be a co-commissioner, and there would be some serious rules put forward.
Yeah.
That's kind of maybe a little bit more clarity on the situation. But,
yeah, I mean, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, listen. Winning, I mean, there's 3 championships in fantasy football that are over my shoulder. None of those championships would be in this room, nor would I have accepted any of these trophies if I had cheated to win. And I know that we joke around the Marywood League because I've gotten the number 1 pick a couple times, but you guys see me spin the wheel.
But we joke about
like
you
see
it,
all that stuff happen.
You know damn well we're messing with
you. So, but none of this stuff happens in a cheating way because I wouldn't have accepted it. So, for me, honestly, I mean, like you said, and the commissioners had a back and forth and it got heated. If there's a back and forth and it's getting like this and it's getting heated, number one, if you're innocent, you might be offended that somebody thinks that you're guilty. But if you're having a normal conversation and somebody says, here are the facts, here's what's been, or here are the things that have been brought up, tell me what is fact, what is fiction, okay? If you and I were co-commissioners and you had a question for me, and you started talking to me and I started screaming at you, whether I'm guilty or not, I look extremely guilty.
Yes,
because I should be able to
which is
have
why we think he did it.
I should be able to have a conversation with you about what you're talking to me about. Now, I can say, Murph, you've known me for so many years. I'm offended that you think that I would do anything wrong or dishonest. With that being said, let me explain to you, da-da-da-da-da. But that's from building the relationships that we have. So, I mean, the fact that the co-commissioner owns the pick of the person that is now sitting everybody, that is the thing that makes me feel really off. Because if you're looking at this and saying, okay, the co-commissioner's in last place, I'm kind of like, okay. And then the guy in ninth place, well, now he's sitting everybody. So now this can benefit the both of them, but it really benefits the co-commissioner. And is the co-commissioner going to give the pick back to this person that lost the pick?
No.
Did they make? Is there some agreement? Well, the guy's got to be getting the guy in ninth place. If there is collusion, he's got to be getting something out of this. So, I mean, ultimately,
You want to hear a little more backstory?
Yeah, give me a
The
little.
guy in ninth place is the guy in last place's uncle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So
That makes it a little more. That makes it even more interesting.
I feel like at this point, like I said, I want to believe innocent until proven guilty because America has actually flipped and you're guilty until proven
Yeah, but
innocent.
how do you prove that though?
Because I mean,
That's the problem.
You really can't, other than you have the Zoom call with the league and you address it with the league. And if these people really are not doing anything wrong, they're not going to be screaming and yelling and flipping out, because it's easy to do things behind closed doors. It is easy to lie, cheat, and steal in the shadow. But when you have to look at everybody, it is typically very difficult for most people to be able to look at an entire screen of the league and say to everyone a giant bold-faced lie. Because if they lie to the other commissioner, that's one thing. But if they lie to the entire league and the league folds, then yeah, they can move on to another league, but they got to find another 10 people to abuse now and to do these stupid things to. So I would think
at the same time, why? You're not getting any monetary benefit from this.
Because people, well, why did the kid do it in my league? Because people enjoy doing these shady deals, because some people are not like you and me, Murph. I mean, that's the reality of it all. Not everybody's honest like you and I. I was thinking about this, and I maybe I was thinking about this because something in the universe was talking between our two brains last night and this morning. But I literally thought to myself, because I gave you my cards to get graded, right? And and now I never part with my cards. Like, yeah.
Right.
And I never part with them because not because like I just, like I know if they're in my possession they're safe. But I gave them to you and I thought to myself, I was like, Murph is one of the only people that I genuinely trust, in a sense of like, I don't even think about stuff. You stay in my house. I got all my stuff everywhere. I never think like Murph's going to steal something from my house. Murph's going to do this. Murph's going to, like, none of that stuff crossed my mind because of who you are in our relationship. Trust is very difficult to find. And maybe I was thinking that because I knew that this was coming, but I did wake up with this like thing in my head of like, I really genuinely gave Murph something that I've never given anybody else. Like, I've handed him my cards and put them in his safekeeping. I have, in 38 years of my life, never given anybody any of my cards. And I've had people do me really dirty in trades and stuff, but I gave you these, and in my head I was like, do I want to pay to get them graded? Do I want to be away from them that long? But there was nothing inside of me going like, yeah, Murph's going to pocket these, he's going to sell them. And so, trust is something that is really hard to come by, but when you have it, you keep it. In this league, it's going to be hard to find out 100% the truth. I think that the person I think the person as a human being should have at least a Zoom call for these two people to describe the situation. But I would definitely, coming off of that conversation, consider stripping the co-commissioner of their commissioner rights. I would look at tighter rules in your league as best as you can have. And based on the conversation, if I were you, Murph, and I was sitting in this conversation and I didn't like what I was hearing, I would highly consider leaving, understanding that, yeah, it might suck that you have the picks, but what sucks more is if you get screwed over based on lying, cheating, and stealing, which I will never stand for.
Now, we were trying to figure out a punishment for the pick, because we firmly believe that if this is true and they do want to stay in the league, other than getting stripped of co-commissioner, he needs to be punished with the pick.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're trying to figure out how severe.
You take it away.
One that was one option. One option we thought of was completely eliminating that pick. He could still have the best odds for the number one pick, be in the last place team, but we would completely eliminate that ninth place team's pick. And it would only be 11 picks in the first round.
His rights of the number one pick. If there is any truth to this and there is any collusion, you 1,000% strip his rights to the number 1 pick. I don't care if he's a last place team.
So essentially, you're saying take the picks out of the lottery. Take both of those picks out of the lottery.
I would give the pick back to the uncle. And actually, no, I mean, if they're both involved in this, I would take both picks away from the co-commissioner that's in last place. I would want to, I mean, I don't think I can give, I wouldn't want to give any preferential treatment to the uncle in this situation. I mean, granted, they both he lost his pick, but there's got to be something in it for him if he's doing this and there is collusion. So what I would essentially do is, you said there's a first, second, and third round, right?
There's 3 rounds, and there's the top 3, the 3 last place teams are in a lottery for the number 1 pick.
Okay, so this is what I would do. I would strip them both of being in the lottery for the number 1 pick. If there is any truth to this, based on the Zoom conversation and how all of that goes, I would strip them of any opportunity at the number 1 pick. So you would essentially get it without the lottery. And I'm not doing that because of us.
No, I like that idea. Now, obviously the league's a little annoyed at me for tanking because, let's be honest, I drafted a pretty good team and I probably could have competed, but I decided not to.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. In that message I sent to the league last night, I flat out said, I was tanking, but there is a distinct difference between tanking, which is technically within the rules where you can do it, it's not illegal, and colluding.
Yeah.
That's one is a strategy, might be a little frowned upon, but it's a strategy. The other one is cheating. I
mean, I will tell you,
but
the tanking,
I don't think that I should automatically get the number 1 pick. I don't like that scenario.
Well, I say that scenario, and whether it was you or somebody else, what I'm saying is they're both in the bottom. So then I guess what you can do is, to make it fair,
next 2 teams.
You take the next 2 teams. So this is what I would do, okay? Because I spoke about it, and now I'm thinking about it more. So this is what I would do. Zoom call immediately. Zoom call with the league. Commissioners on there, uncle on there, everybody on there. We're not doing the call unless everybody's on the call. If people refuse the call, if the uncle or this other person refuses the call, refuses to do it, and says, I'm not a part of this, then I'm automatically going without you and I'm making a decision. Because if you refuse to be on the call, if those 2 refuse to be on the call, because the call is about them, if they refuse to be on the call, then I'm going to make the decision with the rest of the league. And that's just how it's going to be. If you give up your right to defend your case, then I'm going to make a decision, right? It's like if you don't show up to court. I can only look at the case without you here and take your absence as guilt and then slam down that gavel and move on with my life. So I'm doing a Zoom call. If everybody's on the Zoom call, I'm going to listen to the Zoom call. I'm going to hear it out. Now, based on what I hear and what I know and what the situation is, I have to make a decision. If there's nothing leaning either way, it's going to be a tough decision to make. If they're not on the call, it's an easy decision. But after the call, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assess the situation. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to pray about it because I pray about everything. I'm going to ask God for clarity to guide and guard me, no matter how big or small anything is. It's a fantasy league. Still going to ask God to guide and guard me. It's a decision that you got to make that affects other people. So I'm going to sit down with that decision. I'm going to pray on that decision. And when I feel in my gut, because I trust my gut, when I feel in my gut where I'm going to go from here, I'm going to make that decision. If I feel like there is anyone at fault in this, I'm going to punish them both. If I deem anybody at fault, I'm punishing them both. And this is my punishment. Co-commissioner, you are no longer the commissioner. We will either find another one or I will do this on my own, but you are no longer going to be the co-commissioner. You've been stripped of those duties. That is gone. So, co-commissioner, if there is any guilt that I find, any wrong that I find, not just because, if there's any wrong that I find that I deem is enough, then that co-commissioner is no longer co-commissioner. The second thing that I do if I find that there is something wrong and fishy here is that I'm going to take both of those people, I'm going to take them out of lottery, I'm going to leave you in the lottery, I'm going to bring the other 2, the next 2 worst teams into the lottery with you, so it is a fair 3-person lottery. The other thing that I'm going to do, and you may not like this, Murph, is I'm going to hand you a warning, and I'm going to hand the league a warning that you cannot purposefully tank. If you do tank, you're not going to be in the lottery. So
we
from
do
here,
we do think that's going to become a rule, and that's fine.
yeah,
I already
that's
agreed
and
to
that's
that for
what I
next
would
year.
do. So I'm gonna if there are people at fault, there's no more co-commissioner. There's gonna be the stripping of the opportunity to get the number one pick from those two people, and in order to not just hand it to you, I'm going to bring two other people in, and then I'm also on the Zoom call going to address tanking. I'm not going to call you out by name, but I am going to put a rule out there because it's easy to see the teams that are tanking. They put guys out there on bye. They put their good players on the bench. They trade everybody away. And in that case, if you do tank from here on out, our rule is going to be that if you tank, you are not going to be in the running for the number one pick, which is the only reason why people do it. If you tank 2 seasons in a row, you're out of the league.
Okay, I think that's fair. Now one thing that we were talking about last night, because this was a text conversation between 4 of us. It was the teams in first and second, so the other co-commissioner and the team in second, and then the team that's playing the number 9 seed or the 9th place team, and myself. It was the 4 of us. And what's funny, I wasn't even the one that pointed. I was not the one that figured this out.
Yeah.
The commissioner was, and he pointed it out to me, and then I realized what was happening. And the guy in 11th, who will still have a lottery pick, regardless, was pissed for me. I'm like, I didn't even realize this was happening. And I'm the one that's been tanking all year, when it's been kind of frowned upon. Like, the fact that they're coming to my defense tells me a lot. Because I know damn well they don't like the fact that I'm tanking. And that's fine. In that message, like I said, I completely admitted to it. I'm not gonna, for a second, gonna stay here and say, yeah, I didn't. I wasn't doing it. No, I was. I'm blatantly honest. I was. If it were to come up, and if we were to do that Zoom call and it were to come up, I'll address it. Yes, I was. I get it. But, if you want to make that rule going forward, that's fine. It was not completely established beforehand until I started to do it. So, yeah, it's frowned upon, but it's technically not cheating. Collusion is cheating. That's a different story. And whatever conversation we get into there. Now, what we're worried about is if we put up some repercussions here, is that, so it's 5 of his, he's got 5 people in this league. Yeah. Tim, his uncle, and then 3 of his friends. Our worry is that they will all leave the league.
Why is that a worry?
If that happens.
Why is that a worry?
Because the league would fold.
Right, but that's fine.
We don't want that.
But if you have a bunch of cheaters, let them go.
But the other ones aren't the ones cheating. That's what we're saying.
Right, but what I'm saying is if they leave, and if people leave because you're trying to put together a parameter of rules to make things fair and equitable for everybody, if people leave a fair and equitable league that puts parameters around crazy people running the asylum, then let them go. That's how I've always looked at things. If I'm offending you by trying to address concerns and rules and make sure that we're actually protecting the sanctity of the league, if you leave a league because I'm trying to make it fair and equitable, then go. And I've never had a problem watching those people leave, and I never miss them.
You're right.
I've honestly forgotten all of their names. So
here's the thing. So we, like I said, we want to keep the league going, regardless. Our thought was, so we would then have 5 empty teams if we were to keep the league going. I don't know how this would work, but our thought was, and if we can get 5 people, we might be able to figure it out. For the first year with all the new owners, they pay half price on the league fee. Everybody that's in the league already pays a little bit extra, basically to make up the difference, so that the pot is still the same. We'd have 5 new owners, and our thought was, because who's going to want to take over that last place team? Our thought was to take all the players from those 5 teams, either drop them all to free agency or put it in like some sort of pool, and those 5 teams draft for their teams with the players that are from those 5 teams originally, so that they can kind of have a say in who's on their roster rather than just getting stuck with the crappy team or whatever. Make those teams a little bit more competitive for now. And then, obviously the 7 of us that were still, that were still in the league, we have no say in this. So they would all draft their teams with whatever was remaining from those 5 and go from there. We don't know how that would work, but we also don't know if that's a good idea. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts about that. If they were to all leave, rather than starting a new league.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think the way that this has been set up, and I mean, I could see the commissioner punishing you right away, right? I could see him saying, Murph, you tanked. You publicly said you've tanked. You're not getting another.
If I get punished for it, I get punished for it. Fine.
So
I'm not worried about that.
Honestly,
I'm more so worried about the collusion.
Right. I mean, to me, being a commissioner for as long as I have and dealing with some tomfoolery, not to this extent, but dealing with people before, and just dealing with the fact that not everybody always agrees, right? Not everybody has the same opinion, and you can't make everybody happy. In the beginning, I had worked to try and make everybody happy. Now, all these years in, I'm like, I'm not trying to make everybody happy. I'm trying to do what is fair and equitable. And, we changed the rules of the playoffs this year where not every team made it. And I didn't have every team make it so people could tank and not care, or people could do this, that, whatever. I just wanted people to stay involved. I didn't want – the only reason why every team made it, no matter what your record was, and there were bye weeks, of course. I don't want to punish the people. But the way – sometimes there were, sometimes there weren't, because I honestly was trying to figure out the schedule, and I didn't go into it as deeply as I do now. But doing what I did was because I didn't want people to check out. I didn't want people to start losing the first 5, 6, 7 weeks and then not care and not set their lineup. And then we all get victories over these teams because they know they're not going to make the playoffs. And if they're checked out because they know they're not going to be in weeks 15, 16, 17, or 15, 16, 17, 18, I didn't want to lose those people. I didn't want those people to get discouraged. I didn't want those people to stop caring. So to those, and I know Greg was a proponent of not having every team make the playoffs. And my argument back to Greg was, what if it's you? I don't want you to look at the season, be 9 weeks in, and go, well, screw it. I'm not making anything, so I'm not going to set my lineup. I'm not going to care. And then I'm going to have people complaining to me saying, what is this kid doing? Why doesn't he care? He start the season 0-9 or 1-10, or 1-8, and he's not trying. And now I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. And why even play these games? And then they're going to say, because I've had people tell me before, this guy never sets his lineup. I don't want to be in a league with a guy who doesn't set their lineup. Kick him out of the league or I'm going to leave. And so, that was my argument in my league, why everybody made the playoffs, because I didn't want people to check out. I didn't want people to become discouraged, and I didn't want people to not care. However, the flip side of that is I changed the rule this year. I didn't make the playoffs, and I'm not complaining. My team did not perform well. It was my weakest team that I drafted. It was a team that may have gone through injury at some points, but I had to make a ton of moves. I look at my roster. I showed you the roster. The majority of the people on their roster are not people I drafted because I would have never drafted them. But I made moves at different times due to injury, due to whatever. And I didn't just willy-nilly doing it. I wanted every single team to win, and that team has pissed me off to all get out. But at the end of it all, they lost. They're not in the playoffs. I suck it up and I deal with it. And I made a trade this past week. I made a trade this past week that made my team better. I made a trade this past week before Sunday so that I could put those guys out to win. I'm 1-10, 1-11, and I went out there with my 1-whatever season, made a trade to make my team better, to try and win a game to get 2 wins on a team that's not going to the playoffs. So I will never say die. I will never give up. I will put my roster out there in the consolation bracket, but my argument to why why have everybody versus not have everybody in the playoffs is because, gosh forbid, you don't make it to the playoffs. I don't want you to be like, this league sucks, I hate it, blah, 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 blah. When in actuality, your team just didn't perform. And it's not anybody's fault. But there's always going to be questions, Murph. And it sounds like this league has so many issues that if you want to take who's remaining, now it is up to them. If these two people get punished and you get punished, it is up to you. It is up to them if they want to stay. It's up to their friends if they want to stay. But ultimately, if you have 5 that leave, if they say, okay, you know what, we're friends with these guys, you did them dirty, we're out. So you have what you have left, and you go and find other people, and you put the league together with other people. You go find better, people that you're not going to have to worry about doing this, that, whatever. But the reality of it all is the other commissioner has the right and the opportunity to make clear to you, to them, there is no more tanking, there's no collusion, there is no this with draft picks, there's none of this stuff going on. And if people want to leave, they leave. But ultimately, what people don't understand, because everybody wants to be the commissioner until you become the commissioner, what people don't understand about being a commissioner is it is hard to come up with the scoring system. It is hard to come up with if you're going to do standard or PPR or hybrid of both. It is hard to determine how many points you're going to get with PPR. It is hard to determine how many roster spots you're going to have and how many rounds you're going to have in drafting. It is hard to determine how many injured reserve spots you're going to have. It is hard to determine the rules of the trade and if I'm going to veto it or the league is going to veto it. It is hard to determine different, like the schedule is set randomly, but sometimes the schedule was set where like the same teams are facing each other 3 times in a row. So I had to go in and manually change it. People have no idea the amount of hours that I have to put in as a commissioner to make it fair and equitable for everybody. So your commissioner has every right to say, Brendan, you're punished. These other 2 guys are punished. Brendan, you can't get the number 1 pick. These other 2 guys, you can't get the number 1 pick. These are the new rules. Like them or hate them, this is what they are, and then go from there. And if you're going to have less teams and you want to move forward like that, then move forward like that and find somebody else to make it even. If not, go and find more to it. But if this league gets any more dirty, my honest opinion to you as a friend is to get out of it.
Yeah, and we were that was one of the topics of discussion last night, but I am though curious to know what you think about that possibility of redrafting those other 5 teams. Do you think that would be a good way of doing it?
Yeah,
especially for those teams coming in, this way no one gets stuck with like a shitty team. Sorry.
There you go. So no, I think redrafting. Yeah, you could look at doing something like that. I think so. So give me the parameters again, because I was thinking about a million things at once. So these 5 teams, what are the parameters of the redraft? Say it again.
If they were to, if it's new, let's just say it's 5 completely new owners, right? Our thought was we're not 100% sure how we would do it.
So nobody inherits the teams.
So that was our thought.
Okay.
No one inherits like a crappy team. No one inherits a really, really good team.
Okay.
It would all come in. It would all be fair. So they'd be able to take everyone on those 5 teams, those rosters.
Okay.
Either drop them all to free agency for them to redraft.
Okay.
Or have some sort of draft within it so that those 5 teams can be relatively fair and balanced.
Okay. So this is what I would do. I would do what the NFL. I would do what the NFL does, but this is a little bit. This is obviously more extended. When an expansion team comes in, then we have this opportunity for the expansion team to build a roster. So what I would do is essentially call this your league expansion. If those 5 leave, then you have a league expansion. That league expansion takes those pool of players and everybody else that's out there in free agency and whatnot, puts them all into a pot, and essentially you have 5 expansion teams join your league, and those 5 expansion teams get to redraft amongst each other to build and fill their roster so that nobody inherits. Because I would never want to go into a league and get somebody else's roster, and no matter how good or bad it is, because it doesn't belong to me. And even if I win, I would feel like it's not mine. So what I would do is I would have those 5 come in, and because the other thing that I would think of is blow the whole thing up and everybody redrafts, but then I'm punishing people that didn't do anything wrong. So That's my only issue with that. So yeah, I mean, I would say, listen, I would have those come back. I would have, if they leave, whoever comes in, we take all of those teams, we drop them in a bucket, and we let it be the Houston Texans expansion, essentially, and let everybody go out there and search for the players. But if I am the commissioner of this league, I am doing a Zoom call with or without you type of thing. And whoever's on the call is on the call. And whoever's not on the call, just like Fran Brown said, you come to practice, you can come to my office. You don't come to practice, you can't say anything about my team. I would do a Zoom call this week without question. And I would say, okay, 9 o'clock work for everybody Tuesday night? Good, 9 o'clock. If you don't show up on the Zoom call, your vote doesn't count. If you say you're not going to be on it, your vote doesn't count. And if I'm talking to two people, talking to myself, or talking to the whole league, I'm making decisions. And those decisions are going to be made, and they're going to come down swiftly, because the only way to salvage this dirty league is to clean it up. And the only way to clean it up, you might have to lose a little bit of it, but fairness to the people that drafted and did nothing wrong, and fairness to the people coming in to not have to inherit a team that they may not want, I would say, yeah, do an expansion draft, but I don't envy any of you being in this league right now. I probably would just leave.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want to salvage it, being that I have 3 first-round picks this year, 2 next year, and a team that, if I draft well, could be loaded for years to come. But, I don't know how this is going to go down. So I appreciate the advice. I know that basically took up probably almost half an hour. I was talking about that.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that we needed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna relay all that information over to our the other commissioner and see what he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely and listen, I mean, if that commissioner wants
if they decide to leave, then whatever. We'll figure it out from there. We will either get 5 new owners to do that,
yeah,
or we'll just start a new league. And like you said, like if they want to punish me for tanking, then that's fine, right? I know I did it. I'm not hiding it. If they think there should be some sort of punishment for me for tanking, then fine.
Yeah.
If they don't think so, then that's also fine. That's ideal, actually. But as much as I don't want to get punished, I hope I don't get punished. But if I get punished, I get punished. Whatever. It is what it is.
I would tell you what I mean. If I was a commissioner, friend or not, I would punish based on the information that I know, and I know that you have come out and said you publicly tanked. I would not allow you the opportunity for the number 1 pick based on what I got from the other 2 guys. I would talk to them and then decide what I'm going to do from there. I mean, it's just basically if the dirty gets too high, then what I do is I just hit the reset button. And I'm like, okay, guess what? We're going to do a lottery for the lottery, and I'm going to take all the teams in the lottery, and we're going to spin the freaking wheel, and then we're going to decide the 3 that get in it, since I can't figure out who's doing what. But, yeah, I mean, ultimately, this thing needs to get figured out. But if this commissioner wants to reach out to me, I got 20-some-odd years of experience, so you could tell him to shoot me a message if he has a thought. Or they can have me. How about this, Murph? I don't know anybody. I mean, I know you in the league, but I already said I would punish you. So, I mean, I would honestly come onto the call as a liaison and be like, none of y'all know me. You're punished, you're punished, you're punished. These are the new rules. The commissioner doesn't have to say it. You can hate me if you want to. Don't hate him, and let's move on with life. But, yeah, I'm not putting up with, I mean, if it was my league, collusion, tanking, yeah. And I'm going to have a watchful eye on that person. Keep in mind, like I said, the person that cheated for the number 1 pick and offered me the 2 pick, I left his league, and I have never, ever, ever wanted to go back. So, to me, once it's dirty, what do they say? That once somebody crosses a line in a relationship, that, that there's a new line, right? There's a new, wherever the sand was drawn, you picture the water coming up, and it pushes that, and it washes away the line. Well, when you're in relationships where the water keeps coming up higher and higher on the sand, and it makes a new line and a new line and a new line, you have to determine how close you want to stay to the ocean before you get sucked in. Yeah. That's my honest opinion. So, the NFL, I'm going to hit this quick. I'm going to let everybody know what's going on in the NFL. We're giving you extra time today. This is what the NFL looks like. AFC, Ravens, the Jaguars, the Chiefs, and the Dolphins at one point have all been number one in the AFC in the last 3 weeks. The Ravens are 10-3. They're in first place. The Dolphins play tonight, so they have an opportunity to make this even more interesting. The Chiefs have been on a losing streak. The Jaguars have lost a couple in a row. Kansas City has a tiebreaker over Jacksonville, defeating Jacksonville at home in Everbank Stadium in Florida. The Cleveland Browns at this point are 5th. The Steelers are 6th with a million different reasons how they got there. The Colts are 7th. The Texans are alive. The Broncos are alive. The Bengals, without Joe Burrow, are alive. The Buffalo Bills are in 11th place at 7-6 currently at the time of our conversation. The only team eliminated is going to make 31 franchise fans happy. The Patriots are officially eliminated from the postseason.
Damn right.
For the first time in 162 years. And on the other side of it, in the NFC, exactly what I said could happen that would shake everything up did happen. And the San Francisco 49ers won, the Cowboys won, and the Eagles lost in the head-to-head with the Cowboys, which means all three teams are 10-3. The Cowboys jumped the Eagles for second place now. They are now leading the NFC East. The San Francisco 49ers are leading the NFC in its entirety, followed by the Detroit Lions. Now remember, the Cowboys lost head-to-head with the Niners, so that's why the Niners are first. The Cowboys are second. The Lions, despite their recent snafus at 9-4, are third. The Bucs, in the worst division in football, has not disappointed. In my statement in the preseason that it was the worst, they have not shown me any different. Their team in first place has a losing record. The Bucs are 6-7. Followed by and this is where you talk about fairness. The Bucs would get a home game at 6-7. The Eagles would play on the road 10-3 right now. The Vikings
and absolutely destroy the Bucs.
Right.
It wouldn't be a game.
The Vikings are 7-6. They're in it. The Packers are in it at 6-6 with an uptick of Jordan Love and company. The Rams are still mathematically alive. So are the Seahawks, the Falcons, the Saints. Everybody with a 6-7 record is mathematically there. The Chicago Bears, who just defeated the Lions at 5-8, they're not out of this thing. The only team that is out are the 1-12 Panthers, who have insult to injury because if they get the number one pick, they don't get the number one pick. They traded it to the Chicago Bears, so they can't even assess their situation immediately, which is absolute insanity.
Perfect is this working out for the Bears?
The Bears are going to get the number one pick. They're going to get another pick in the high. They're going to get 2 picks in the top 5, maybe, or 2 picks in the top 10.
Maybe not, because they're starting to win some games. So maybe 2 in the top 10. But
and this is the thing they know is they don't have to lose any games. They can get into the playoffs.
They don't care.
And still have the number one pick.
You're right.
It's crazy.
And they're going to sit there with Caleb Williams and Drake Mace staring them in the face. I imagine they'll probably pick Caleb Williams. They'll trade Justin Fields, and I think they'll be able to get something decent for Justin Fields, being that, this year he's kind of proven that he's at least a decent player.
Yeah.
I would think they might be able to get a second-round pick for him at least. So they'll have that pick. And they're going to be sitting there with Caleb Williams. When last year they didn't want to draft a quarterback, and they didn't. They got a haul, and they got DJ Moore in that deal, mind you. Forget about that.
Yeah.
They got a haul from the Panthers for Bryce Young. A haul. So good for them for making that deal. And if it works out for them that they're great for years to come, that's going to be why. Is making that trade down where they kept Justin Fields another year and let the Panthers trade up for that. That is what the Jets should have done with the Zach Wilson draft.
Arguably, right now, the number one pick and 2 top 10 picks in the first round go to the Chicago Bears, who may turn out to be the smartest team going into the 2024 NFL Draft. It is going to get interesting, and it's continued to be interesting. The Cowboys are in the driver's seat. The Niners are a little bit ahead of them overall in the driver's seat of the NFC. The Cowboys in the driver's seat of the NFC East. The Jaguars need to get back on the winning side of things. The Chiefs, in early October, I said to you all, the Chiefs are struggling to score, and they've leaned on their offense forever. They've never had a great defense, in the Pat Mahomes era. And the Kansas City Chiefs, who were scoring around 20 points a game, where the Jets almost beat them, the Jags almost beat them, the Broncos almost beat them, then they beat them after that first trip there just a couple weeks later. The reality of it all for the Kansas City Chiefs is, I said, in October, this team is not scoring. Someone is eventually going to beat them because they're leaning on their defense. And so if they can't score and they continue to lean on their defense, eventually somebody's going to be able to beat them by scoring over 20 points here. Kansas City.
Did you see the end of that game, though?
It was crazy, man.
Last night?
Pat Mahomes was out of his mind.
Well, here's the thing. Did you see where Kadarius Toney was lined up?
Yeah.
That man, and it kills me to say this because he's a Gator. He cannot do anything right in the NFL. Literally. All those drops in week 1, basically getting put on the bench. And then last night, in a play that would have probably won the game.
Yeah, that play was nuts.
He lines up offside. He never even checked with the side judge to check if he was on sides. He was looking right at the ball, and the ball was behind him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
And the thing was, it was clear where his foot was. My thing with Kadarius Toney, and this is what I want to tell people today, and I want to tell people this every day. Kadarius Toney is a human being. I know you guys are mad.
I feel for him. I do.
I know you guys are mad, but in the world we live in today, for this man to receive death threats and hate letters and hate emails and hate posts and all this stuff, and for fans to just be threatening and evil and mean and distasteful and disgusting and rude, please understand that people make mistakes. His mistake is in front of billions of people. Your mistakes, a lot of them, will never be in front of billions, millions, or thousands of people. So let's just remember the fact that the one thing I thought about was, man, I hope this guy is mentally tough. I prayed for him. Watching that, I prayed for him. Because of the world we live in today and because of the things that people are going to say to him and the threats he's going to get, I prayed for his mental toughness. I prayed for his peace.
I saw that flag and immediately thought it was defensive offsides.
Right, and my thing is I shouldn't have to pray for that stuff, but in the world we live in today, I do. And hopefully we can be better so I don't have to say prayers that you don't try to attack somebody to the point where you want them to end their life or quit playing football or whatever it may be. So Kadarius, keep working, man. It was a mistake. Fantastic play by the Chiefs, and it was all taken away by that mistake. I know all about it. Okay, because the Jacksonville Jaguars with C.J. Beathard, I was there on Monday night, threw the ball to the 1-yard line, receiver catches it, falls down. All we got to do is push it in to win the game, and we get flagged for a holding penalty, which ends up taking them back to their side of the field, and essentially the game ends on a field goal from the Bengals' Evan McPherson. So, I know all about it. Murph, we got to get into something really quick here. And that is our show and tell. If y'all have watched my most recent box break, I do breaks all the time with GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, open 7 days a week. I did my most recent break, and I got a ton of stuff. It is ridiculous how many things come in the Panini Origins. If you're a fan of rookies, and you're a fan of rookies with their NFL jerseys on, these cards are going to, I'm hoping they go like hotcakes at the next trade night where I can get some really awesome value for this stuff, be it you buying them or finding some good things to trade. I have plenty to show. And so while Murph is getting this thing ready on his side, I'm going to save these couple. I'm going to put these in the corner here. I'm not going to show these right away. But these are the ones I'm going to show first. So this is just a nice one. It's just a base. It's a base card, but it's a really cool look at Josh Allen for somebody's collection like the Aaron Rodgers. Will Anderson Jr., I'm going to show you some of my rookies here. So we got Will Anderson Jr. We got the guy I told you when he played against Syracuse was going to be in the NFL, and he's a starter now. Aiden O'Connell. By the way, one of my hot takes here, buy Aiden O'Connell stuff. I think he's going to be trending upward, and you can get his stuff cheap. He's one of the guys that I'm seeing stock rise. In my opinion, well, I shouldn't say seeing stock rise. I believe the stock will rise. Here's my startups. Origins rookie here of Sean Clifford, quarterback for Green Bay. I have another startups here that is worth some dollars. That is a Jahmyr Gibbs. Big fan of Jahmyr. I had him going where he went. Marvin Mims, who some people are getting high on with Denver. That's a rookie card that could be on its way up. Origins original gridiron, the OGs here, Quentin Johnston. A man who scored yesterday and had himself a nice day, Chase Brown, running back for the Bengals. We have Darius Davis of the Chargers, rookie card as well. We have the one whose father called him to bring him onto the team. Great story. He was injured yesterday, Deuce Vaughn.
That was a cool story.
Yeah. I love stuff like that. That's all got. Dontavian Wicks here, Green Bay, rookie wide receiver. A Quentin Johnston, rookie here of the base for Origins. This guy's trending up too. Sam Laporta, liking Sam Laporta. Jonathan Mingo. I feel like some people might start to put some value onto his stuff. He might be a prospect guy. Covered this guy in college, Tajay Spears from Tulane, who beat Caleb Williams and USC. Here's a guy who's having himself some good days. Luke Musgrave of the Green Bay Packers, rookie card. Will Levis, another one that people might prospect on here. Some people going for some Levises. Zach Charbonnet, I think this is a guy who's going to be going up in value in the sports card world. I got 2 numbered cards, but I'm going to hold them for a second to show you all this one because I know some people are going to want this. CJ Stroud, Texans, rookie, Origins.
Oh, if I didn't already submit the those cards, the order's already done. So I'm sending that in.
Anthony Richardson.
I'm gonna go drop them off later today. Ooh, nice.
Original gridiron, Anthony Richardson, rookie card. Is that one numbered? No. Okay. And the parallel where the color is faded out, rookie card, Anthony Richardson, black and white.
Oh, I want that.
So that one's pretty here. And then I have my 2 numbered cards. One of them is numbered to 10. It's my second lowest that I've ever received. So I have a Tanner McKee Eagles rookie card color match green refractor numbered to 10, number 6 out of 10 rookie card here for Tanner McKee. And a rookie refractor pink numbered to 299 Zach Charbonnet.
There you go.
So I had myself a nice box thanks to GG Cards and Breaks. And I saw the box and I'm like, I need to buy this box because the box is too pretty. It was just too pretty, so I had to do it.
Yeah.
All right, Murph, what do you got?
So, not much. I don't really have much to show off today. It's 3 cards essentially. Okay. One of them I might have shown on the show before. I don't remember, but it was a PC card. But one, I picked this one up on Saturday night. It is a very, very cool-looking XR blue Kyle Trask RPA.
Okay.
PSA 9. Really cool, really good-looking 3-color patch. It's numbered to 25. That was a really cool card. That's a good one for my PC of Kyle Trask. This one is a Contenders Rookie of the Year Breece Hall auto. Like I said, I think I've shown this one on the show before. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm a Breece Hall fan, and so
it's a cool Breece Hall.
That's a cool looking card, yeah.
And it's a PSA 10 too, so that's a decently big one. And then this is the big boy that I got. I got this one yesterday. I now have 3 of his rookies, and oddly enough, this might not stay with me for very long because I already have a guy that I've been talking with about some Tua autos that he's interested in this. But it is a 2017 Optic Patrick Mahomes rookie, PSA 9. This is a biggin. I traded 2 Shohei Ohtani rookies.
Let me see it again. Put it up again. That's nice.
Yeah. So I traded 2 Shohei Ohtani rookies, got one back, and $220 for this. We valued it at about $360. So I think I'm doing okay with this. This one, I imagine that the It'll continue. It's his market's come down a little bit,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like I think I'm into this for low enough that I'll still be able to make some money on it. But
Yeah.
really, really cool card.
Yeah, and I've realized that I want a Tua. I if I don't find a Tua rookie graded at a 10, I want to find a Tua that I think I can go get graded to get between a 9 and a 10. Yeah, I want a Tua, man. I really do.
Green Mosaic PSA 10. I had this up there.
You had
It was in
one
my
that
show-
I
it was in my
liked.
case.
You had one that I liked in your case. And,
Yeah, it's probably this one.
And we didn't talk about it.
PSA 10.
There's another one.
It was
that you
probably
had.
this.
There's another one
The
you
other one was
had.
a cheap one.
There was one that was like $40.
This was $30.
$30. Oh yeah, that was the one that
This
I
is
liked.
the cheap one. This is a PSA 9.
Yeah,
So this one's not a 10.
Yeah,
But it's cool. It's a cool card.
so a lot of good stuff. Get out to GG Cards and Breaks. I got a bunch of stuff here that Murph wants. They're all in a row.
He has a bunch of stuff I have a bunch of stuff that he wants.
My Anthony Richardsons, my Aaron Rodgers. All that means is that Murph and I have to get more FaceTime together. That's all that means. We're going to have to see each other soon. Maybe these will be our Christmas gifts to each other. We'll see how we make it. You know what? We should do that. We should do DT and Murph do Christmas. And we should both send each other a random card from our collection. We should send each other something, not something stupid, like something that we would both appreciate that has value. We should send each other a card and then when we get it, put it under the tree and then open it simultaneously live and not know what the other person sent us.
Yeah, we can go live Christmas morning for it.
Yeah, we should do DT and Murph, do Christmas.
It'll be quick, obviously, being Christmas morning.
Yeah, but
we're going to want to spend it with our families, but
Yeah, but that we both send each other a card that is like, what we'll do is Murph and I will come up with like 5 cards each. And so we'll say, okay, these are the 5 we like of each other's lot. And then we'll send each other one of those 5 cards that the other person chose, but that person will not know what the card is. So we'll have an inkling that it's something that we want and something that we like. But
well, I could send you 2 or 3. I mean, if I'm going to send it on a bubble mailer, which is what I'm going to do, I could send you more than 1 or 2.
Yeah, but I think so we'll consider
because most of what we're going to send each other is going to be like a couple dollars a card.
Yeah, I mean, you could go ahead and send me one that's like $300 if you want. That's your choice. But
you want where is he? You want this?
What am I looking at? I can't see the name.
It's Adley.
Oh yeah, Adley. Okay.
You want that for $2,000?
There we go. But this is what we're gonna do. So Murph and I are gonna do a Secret Santa. DT and Murph do Christmas. We'll figure out the parameters. We'll share them with you, and we will send each other something to open for Christmas morning.
Sounds good.
With that being said, Murph, as always, I appreciate you, man. We talked about a lot of things. Hopefully we helped you figure out your fantasy league. And I look forward to
hope so.
Somebody taking a mop to that league and cleaning this thing up soon. Thanks as always, Murph. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. We'll be back next week.
Congratulations on your Jets winning.
Let's go, baby.
That coming from Brendan Murphy one more time. DT and Murphy coming to you every single Monday on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Outside of travel or holidays, we're here with you. So happy to have Murph here as always to start off the week. Big time thanks to him. Big time thanks to all of you. Find us on Facebook.com and YouTube.com, both /WakeUpCallDT. WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Once we go live, you can jump into the archives and find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Podchaser.com, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. A big time thanks to our incredible partners, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Mom Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, GG Cards and Breaks, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, as well as Canine Camp Dog Daycare, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's, Mother's Cupboard, Great Lakes Honda City, the former Honda City of Liverpool, that you can find right there on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Pizza Man, and of course, North Star Nutrition and Nutrition Wave, our newest partners to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Dolphins on Wednesdays during Dolphin Time, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time weekly. You will also find your Dolphins in bonus time. AD&DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, coming to you the first and third Wednesday of each month. The Dolphin Dive coming to you with student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni the second and fourth Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. This week, you're going to get bonus Dolphin content, as you have so many times throughout the year, with Dolphin stuff coming your way Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. So make sure you stay tuned for those specials, all built around the battle for the interstate, as well as my specials with Binghamton University on the other side of this matchup. So a lot of great stuff coming up. Go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, click subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You'll find the Lemoyne playlist on my YouTube channel. You can also find Lemoyne under the exclusive partners tab on wakeupcalldt.com. And for more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com. Fins up, baby. Fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The Bobcat Buzz comes to you every single... Oh my goodness, Greg said Wilson for a Ramsey. I might take back what I said, Greg. I might take back my kind words. No, I won't. I do appreciate you very much so. Wilson for a Ramsey. Ugh, gross. Could happen. It could happen. Don't give Murph any ideas. The Bobcat Buzz coming to you every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Bryan and Stratton Syracuse. Check out the Bobcats every single month. Men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, baseball, esports just hired their head coach. A lot of great stuff coming up. A lot of great stuff has already happened in almost 2 years already. Believe it or not, I feel like we signed this partnership a couple months ago. Almost 2 years of being their exclusive partner, giving you stories, angles, and an approach to the Bryan and Stratton Syracuse Bobcats unlike anything you have ever seen, and I am so grateful to each and every single one of them. I'm going to have a special with Tay Baker, the head coach of the women's basketball team at Bryan and Stratton Syracuse, with so many great things. We talk about everything. Where sports meets life, folks, you know that Wake Up Call goes everywhere and anywhere that we want to go. And we do it with God, we do it with positivity, we do it with comedy, we do it with family and community, and obviously care and love for people, and justice, and the approach of wanting to see everybody eat and everybody do well. So we always have fun. Tay and I are going to have a special to remember. It's going to air tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. You do not want to miss it. The Bryan and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse just played an NCAA Division I opponent in UMBC. They went to Baltimore and played this opponent. They were asked by UMBC to play the game, and so they just played a Division I NCAA women's basketball team. Huge history for the Bobcats just to be in the game. So we will discuss that and so much more, and I can't wait to have him on the broadcast. So a lot of great stuff coming up. Find our Bobcat content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe and the notification bell. And the playlist for the BSC Syracuse Bobcats is there for you as well. You can find them on wakeupcalldt.com under exclusive partners. And for more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. You know what it is, folks. Go, Bobcats, go. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank Murph for all the love and appreciation that he brings to sports, that he brings to the show. And obviously, we're like brothers, so I can't appreciate him enough. A big-time conversation about a big-time contract, Shohei Ohtani to the Dodgers, Major League Baseball moves, Eduardo Rodriguez being that other pitcher that the Diamondbacks needed. Hopefully that'll pan out, because I said they needed one more in rotation. So this could be the guy, and I'm hoping that it is. As a proud Diamondback supporter, as an impartial broadcaster, I hope that everybody finds the right home for them. Juan Soto, for now, his home is the Yankees. Will it be that forever? We shall see. Talked about the NFL. Got into all of our sports cards from GG Cards and Breaks. Proudly presenting that to you and all of these awesome cards that I am going to be putting in my case to sell. And can't wait to do that. A lot of great. I might keep a couple for myself, but there's a lot of great ones in there from Panini Origins. Go to GG Cards and Breaks today, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. In the meantime, find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, 24/7 on YouTube.com/Wake Up Call DT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com. Bookmark, subscribe, find it, love it, listen to it, and we appreciate you tremendously. God bless, no stress, do your best.